Oh, no way. Oh my God. No way. Oh my God.
Welcome, everybody, to what I think we're going to call episode 129, but you'll find, I believe Greg will agree with that, it is a little more.
I don't agree with anything. Don't force me to do stuff.
Well, I would never do that, but I do ask because, you know, it's the norm. How goes it? Hella, Greg.
I'm fucking cool, man.
You know what?
I said that once, like fucking 5 episodes ago, and every time that's what comes out.
I was just gonna say, and you know what? I can't even disagree with it. So let's just say, yeah, Greg's fucking cool, man, so is this show. Tell all your friends.
Yep.
So in this episode, something a little different for you guys.
You may know how this works, but let us explain it for anybody who's not quite sure.
Yeah, because none of you are sure. We weren't even sure, and we're done, and we're not even quite sure.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
I would say about halfway through the season, I had a little idea. I would say it was around March. Weird that I came up with a tournament idea around March. I don't know what could have spurred that. I told Greg, I think it would be really cool if we could do some type of tournament. And we've talked about stuff like this, but I was like, here's like I think we should do this more. Here's the idea. Let's fucking go. And he was all hands on deck. We booked the people to do this. So we ran the gauntlet Saturday.
That was a fucking day.
And we asked 8 friends to join us. Now, they may not have been recording the entire time, but they did give up their entire day for it.
Yeah, tournaments are like that. It's like you guys have all been to your own sports tournaments or a sibling sports tournament or something. Even though they only play 2 or 3 times, you're there all day. You're eating those soggy hot dogs. You're drinking the watered down warm Coke.
Even if it's not sports, like if it's
you're sitting
I've done like
in those bleachers.
The big Pokemon tournaments, like TCG, where I was there.
Yeah.
And I played 4 matches over 9 hours because you had to wait for all the other games to finish. And yeah, for sure. It's things like this can drag. I think Greg and I talked about it at the end. Like our abs were sore. Our cheeks were sore. We laughed so much.
Physically worn down from doing
And
the
basically
show.
we set it up in a way that we really didn't have more than about a 10 or 15 minute break.
Because we're smart like that.
Yeah, exactly. We know a little bit more for next time. But, I basically will get to their episodes and I'll thank them a lot at the end. So we don't list a bunch of names right now. But we broke it into 2 weeks. That tournament ran over an entire Saturday for us. We recorded from, I think, 10 to 5:30 nonstop. And so we're going to give you guys the first round, which is 4 matchups. And in those matchups, Greg hosted, or what should we call it? I guess it's hosted.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like a good, like competitive. Greg refereed. Greg hosted 2 of the episodes, and I hosted 2 of the episodes. So what you're basically going to hear is 4 mini episodes of Serial Chillers. We're pretty proud of them still. I think these are some of the stories that, we knew couldn't stretch into an entire 2-hour and 30-minute episode. And
yeah, they're good little bangers to like
bite size. Bite size.
Yeah, like if you're on a road trip and you want to listen to a podcast, listen to a full episode. If you're like on your way to work and you're going to be stuck in traffic for a little bit, but it's not going to be an hour, listen to this.
This is great.
Get 2 stories out of it.
Yeah, 4. You got 4 stories.
If you're on your way to work.
Oh,
then on your way
that's
home,
true.
you get
That's
2
true.
more.
So at the time of us recording this intro, we don't know exactly how long these episodes are after editing, but they are going to be for sure shorter than regular length episodes. This episode in itself will probably appear a little bit longer than some of them over this season, but you're going to get 4 mini episodes. So basically, enjoy the episodes.
Hopefully you like this, because if it does well, we'll do it again.
And we really liked it. We might do it anyway.
Yeah.
Really quickly, we'll throw out, you guys, the same thing as we always do. Check us out on the social medias. Greg and I just made an agreement and wrote stuff down on the wall.
I can see it from here.
To be better at these things. We want to help you guys stay informed about the show, but also make it easier for you guys to be able to share the show. Like, word of mouth is great, and you guys have done wonderful to help us grow the show organically that way. But it is also nice to just like be able to hit the share button and put it on your story. So your weird friends who don't want to admit they like true crime can just follow and join in.
If you tell a friend and they tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends.
Exactly. Guys, it's a pyramid scheme from the top.
That's
SerialChillersPod.com has everything. If you want to know how to give in any way, even if that's help, we have a couple people, especially All-Star Kelly G, who has given a lot of time in researching and assisting the show.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
If it's something you want to do, we appreciate it. Kelly G, also, we got your gift.
Not the effort, not the blood, sweat, and tears, the effort. Like, she actually it was a vinyl that she...
Yes, yep.
No, I'm kidding.
It was good. It was a good record. It was, Kelly G, we got your gift. So
yes.
I'll have sent you a text by now about that, but... just so we can say now, Kelly G, we loved your gift. Thank you very much for that.
Appreciate you. That was dope.
We opened it together and we cried. We said, "Oh,
I love it."
So, anything else you can think of?
You said serialchillerspod.com for all your soft goods.
Serialchillerspod.com. You got one, I think.
Lonelyfans.com for all your hard goods.
That's with 2 Z's, by the way.
Yeah, lonelyfans with 2Z's.com.
Okay, in our first matchup
Round
for the
1.
day, fight. We brought I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. This is going to grow his head too much, but I think it's a good word to describe him by now. Basically a legendary guest at this point, Paul. And that's who we're talking about.
Paul.
We brought in Paul. Good guy, good competitor. We also brought in very long time friend and fan of the show, Thomas.
Yes.
If you guys have played video games with us, if you guys have joined us in the Discord, you'll know him as Captain Scafreak.
That's not how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Captain Scafreak. I'm sorry, Thomas. We also love Thomas a bunch. This was I literally pulled the names from a hat to make these matchups, and I think that having them as a first matchup really set the pace. Paul had a baby in his lap almost the entire time.
It was looking at me.
Yeah, it was looking at me, and held it down
baby,
a lot.
Quit looking at me.
So if you're a wagering person and you've got someone there to wager with, I know a lot of people have said they play the game with their significant other. They'll, all right, who's gonna win? And you guys should compete too. But now you've got something else to bet on. I
fucking love gambling on stuff. So
in the meantime, and Greg knows the answer. So if you guys can get to him fast,
if you want to get it, yeah. If you want to gamble,
but this is round 1, match 1, Paul versus Thomas. Most of you know how this show works. Let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Each week, I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer, something true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious. In this case, we're going to sit down, I think, 7 times today to do it.
That's a lot.
If something isn't clear, be sure to chime in, because if you have questions about the questions, be sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never ask questions. Boys, are there any questions?
Nope.
Then welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. So today we have... you guys know him well. He's been around the show quite a bit. Some of you loathe him well. Welcome back, Paul.
That's me. I'm one of those guys that loathes him.
Hey, shut up. My time. It's my son. Say hi.
Hey. So, Paul, I don't. You probably actually didn't hear we're not running a video on YouTube for this one.
That was awkward.
Audience, you'll hear that. So maybe we'll throw up a picture of Barrett. On Instagram.
There's a baby in my lap.
Yep,
Audience.
he's adorable, and it's 100% true. So welcome, Paul. I thought to myself today, I think Paul's the only one we've ever dubbed a champion in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he got knighted.
Yeah, he got knighted with the machete.
There's pictures.
And I'm curious to see if our second guest, longtime fan, like I'm one of the longest that I can remember, and now good buddy of ours, can bump him off, or if Paul's going to move on and get knighted for a second time. Welcome to the show for the first time, our good buddy, Thomas.
Yo.
A lot of you may know him as Captain Scafreak. Or if you pronounce it correctly.
I'll say you guys are one of the only ones that pronounce it correctly.
Yes. So, Thomas, welcome, dude. So good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay.
Hopefully, Paul goes down today.
Yeah.
I've been on a losing streak
He
this
hasn't been
season.
drinking, so I think
I think that's the
odds are in
problem.
my favor.
Yeah. All right, guys. Today's subject. Tell me, have you guys heard of the Lake Bodom murders?
I actually have a PhD in.
Oh, perfect.
Did you say the Lamar Odom
Odom
murder?
well for
Yes,
me.
the Lamar Odom murders.
Jesse, did you hear my joke?
Yeah, I heard it.
All right. Barrett liked it.
He swerved it intentionally.
Paul in rare form already today.
He's not even drunk.
Question number 1. In what year did this event take place? All right, have you guys written down your answers?
I have.
All right, let's pop them up there.
1879 and 1922.
Give Thomas 250 points because this crime took place on June 5th, 1960. Yeah, a little more current times than you guys thought, huh?
Yeah, you sure about that?
Yeah, every time
Have you not heard about the murder in Lake Bodom in 1879? 19 whatever year you said is a copycat.
in old Lake Bodom.
Lake Phenomena.
We got to stay on task here today. I know. On June 5th, 1960, 4 teenagers went camping after riding their mopeds to and around Lake Bodom. This was a very popular camping area for young people in the area. Camping at Lake Bodom is located near the Finnish capital of Helsinki. That's what I was going to say. Get ready for a bunch, like even worse than upstate New York and England names. Which of course I did myself real dirty and threw one of those in there later today.
Boy.
These names and everything. I'm just gonna apologize now, and I'm gonna do my best. All right. So this is think like Lake Havasu. Like this is the kind of we're in the Finnish capital of Helsinki. That's where this lake is.
Hedonism and
speedboats. Like spring break. Like everybody's fucking out there. It's a very
Kid
popular
Rock.
place to be. Sure, Kid Rock. Yes, Greg. Camping at Lake Bodom, located near the Finnish capital of Helsinki. 15-year-old Mila Bjorklund. 18-year-old Anya Tuliki Maki. I know it sounds like I'm making it up. I swear I'm
It
not.
sounds
That's
Polynesian.
that song.
Yeah,
That's what that song was made after.
you know why it sounds Polynesian? Because phonetically, for sure it does, but the way it's really pronounced, it probably does not at all. But that's here we are. I'll just keep calling her Anya. Seppo Antero Boisman and Niels Wilhelm Gustafsson.
Seppo and Taro, are they Marx brothers?
No, Seppo Antero is his name.
It's one person.
Yep.
I thought
Okay.
it was like Gretcho, Harpo, Seppo, Taro.
So they had set up a tent near the lake, intending to spend a night camping under the stars. The campground was located on Espoo Island. Not even the funniest name we're going to get here. Later, there's a question about it, so I don't want to give away the funny name too much. But Espoo Island. The trip is relatively... Yes, we're immature here, all right? If you're using the show for research, don't. The campground was located on Espoo Island. Yes, I keep going back to it because I keep wanting to say it. They're there...
Where was it?
Oh, Espoo Island. They're using the area. It's a camping and recreation area. It's used by a lot of people on a near daily basis. What was supposed to be a fun camping trip turned into a horrifying ordeal for these 4 teenagers. After arriving at the campsite, the teens did as many would do and set up camp, pitching only a single tent. So the 4 of them were going to be sharing, you know what I'm saying?
Groovy.
Body warmth, you know?
Pitched one tent. 4 people.
So they started doing the things you would do when you camp. Like they did a little fishing, a little hiking, a little adventuring, a little drinking. As far as I can tell, and I believe Blood Talks comes back, and there are no drugs, but they were drinking. Like they're as 18-year-olds.
You're camping, man.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
in the woods.
You're literally not allowed to be there without a beer in your hand. So they're just doing the thing, man. They start doing, getting a little drunk, hanging out around the campsite, staying a little closer. The fire's ripping. Everybody gets tired. Basically, they just turn in for the night. It's like, all right, well, here we are. And I'm a camping hater. I think Greg knows this of me. I'll go hang out outside all day. I don't want to fucking sleep there. So at this point, this is when I go home. I don't really drink, so it's cool. I could just drive down the mountain. Everybody else got to sleep outside tonight, baby. But they
Sounds
just
way worse now than it used to.
Yeah, exactly. So all 4 of the teenagers were said to have gone into the tent for the night together around midnight. At some point, all 4 teenagers have fallen asleep and the night stands still. Sometime in the night, the teenagers were viciously attacked in their tent by an unknown assailant. Every single teen had signs of being slashed or bludgeoned in an attack that was said to take place between 4 and 6 a.m. The crime scene was gruesome, with blood splattered inside and outside of the tent. The exact number of stab and strike wounds sustained by each of the teens in the Lake Boda murders case has never been officially released to the public. However, it is widely known that the victims were brutally attacked and suffered multiple injuries each. According to reports, the bodies of the victims were discovered with a total of 22 stab wounds and 15 blunt force injuries. So there's nothing official. There's some people who believe they know about the amount, and that's about it. So 22 total and 15
that's
blunt.
always dangerous when people think they know stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you get a lot of bad information out there.
Exactly. So I try to bring you all the information when I can, but there was just a lot that had the numbers, and then there were a lot that reported that it's never been officially released. So do your own research, because this show ain't it. The severity of the injury sustained by the victim suggested that the attack was brutal and prolonged, and that the killer may have been acting out of extreme rage or a desire to inflict pain and suffering. That's nice, right?
That's
a good assumption to make.
Well, I guess I understand that, though, because...
How fucked up does a crime scene have to look for you to go, whoa?
Well, I think it's not even that it looks fucked up. I think it's probably the type of wounds where, like, if you see one quick slash to the neck, you know they were just trying to kill somebody.
Sure.
If you see a handful of stab wounds to non-vital areas,
the ribs and the
yeah,
back.
then you're especially if they're pre-mortem, then it's obviously just somebody being a dick.
Also, I'm assuming everybody here has been camping. It doesn't matter who you are. We've all had that thought, right? You're laying there camping and you're just like, what if something just came right now? Like, no, I'm never really thinking a killer. It's always like a cougar or a bear or something.
Oh.
But what if someone just attacked me right now? You're so vulnerable.
I'm in a nylon sheet.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it.
Have you guys had that feeling when you're out there?
And then
The darkness is like penetrating. It's everywhere. There's no, especially if you're like out somewhere, not really campsite with a bunch of neighbors and stuff.
Yeah.
You just look to your left. You're like, someone's going to kill me from there.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to kill me from the right. Oh, someone's going to jump out of that tree, jump to that tree, come down and stab me in the back of the neck. Like, yeah.
And then to make things worse, you put yourself inside a sleeping bag so you have all the range of motion.
Yeah, I've seen Friday the 13th. What is that, part 3, where he just slams them with the sleeping bag?
Dude, that's to my benefit. I don't fit in sleeping bags, so I bring blankets.
That's way later. That's like part 9 or something. Anyway. Yes.
Different movie.
The darkness is penetrating. Are we still doing phrasing?
Yes.
What are we doing? What is this?
So essentially, this is brutal. And also to understand how brutal a crime was when it was committed like outside. There's not like walls on a ceiling. You know, when you see blood splatter, that's what I think too. It's like a tent and the ground. And you're like, this was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
This was a lot. So while the exact details of the injuries sustained by the victims are disturbing and tragic, they are an important part of the evidence in the case and have helped investigators to piece together what they believe happened on the night of the murders. Question number 2. 2 boys would see something the following morning while out doing an outdoor activity. Which outdoor activity were they doing? Is it A, bird watching, B, hunting, C, hiking, or D, kayaking?
E, smoking weed in the woods, but they got caught and they said
As long as they weren't hunting,
they said we were bird watching.
as long as they weren't hunting, I'm cool. All 3 of those, they should have been smoking weed while they were doing it. Don't do guns. And all right, Paul says birds. Thomas says bird watching. You guys think these guys are out just fucking weirdos out bird?
No, they're not pooping. What else do you do out there? I don't know. Oh, there's a fucking bird. That's bird.
They might hunt. Right? They might hunt or kayak or no. They were bird watching. You guys are right, man. 250 points for each of you.
Yeah, fuck you, Thomas.
Thomas is up 500 to 250. Fuck you, Paul. We need to get that going again, huh?
Hashtag.
Sometime around 6 a.m., 2 boys said to be bird watching saw the collapsed tent not too far from the trail they were on. The boys thought nothing of it, as this was a camping area and they're aware of the kind of people that camp there. Like seeing a couple dudes passed out in a tent that never like got fully put up last night because they got too faded before they decided to build the tent.
Been
like,
there.
all right, just get in it, dude. I don't know. I'm
Use it
going
as
to
a
use it as a
blanket.
sleeping bag. Yeah. So they saw that.
It's super complicated too.
Some of them can be. And especially
in 1879. Like, can you imagine? That's just like a sheet over some sticks and rock, probably. I don't know. I can't picture it.
I just love that you just keep. If you're like one of those people that just like manifests, right? Like if you just keep believing, it'll happen.
Yeah, no. Yep, totes. Definitely gonna win this.
Okay, so these boys saw the tent collapse. They didn't see the blood or anything, but they did see somebody walking away from the campsite that they remember as a blonde man. They would later not be able to identify anything
In
else.
Finland?
I was just gonna say his name.
That's rare.
They would later be asked about it and not be able to identify anything else than the color of the hair. Thanks a lot. I don't know, it was a guy. The boys who saw the tent and the man carried on as they had believed that they had seen nothing out of the ordinary. Hours later, a cyclist named Risto Siren stumbled. He's finished though. That's what I'm saying. Stumbled upon the campsite and found it odd that there was no activity taking place around a clearly occupied campsite. It was like 10:30 by this 10 or 10:30, and he saw it collapse. I was like, yeah, that's pretty normal. By 10, the sun's beating the shit out of people and they're up like moving around. So
Well,
he
I was
just like
saying also, like, even when you're camping, it doesn't really matter how much you had to drink before the night, like the night before. Your circadian rhythm, like,
it's got you up at like 6:18.
yeah, and you're just like, ugh, the fucking sunrise.
Piece of shit. Yes, exactly. So Risto goes up, takes a look closer, and as he approaches the tent, he understood what he was seeing and immediately turned around to contact authorities. Remember, it's 1960. He didn't like pull out his iPhone.
1879.
1879. Sorry, he didn't pull out his iPhone and like hit the power button 3 times and hit go emergency. Yeah. He had to go hike it back out or cycle back out. Find a phone, ranger station. I'm not quite sure where it happened, but
Had to figure out those goofy Finnish numbers.
Yeah. So he does contact authorities. It says that the call was actually at around 10 a.m. and the authorities arrived around 11. The police arrived at the scene and the investigation began immediately. Gustafsson, Wilhelm, remember him? He was found and he was still alive, but in bad shape with a broken jaw, bruises, and a concussion, and the only one alive, and was taken to the hospital for treatment and was able to provide some information about the attack. He said that he had been sleeping when he was woken up by the attacker and was beaten and stabbed. He also reported seeing a blonde man in a dark jacket at the scene, but his recollection was unclear due to his injuries. So I saw you like look at me like, what? There's a motherfucker alive?
Well,
Plot twist.
When you said he provided information, I thought he was going to be like, oh, no, it was this guy Hans that lives in the next fjord over. But like what he provided was like the physical evidence that was there. Like he got beaten up and stabbed.
Yeah. Well, he said he saw a blonde guy in a dark jacket,
But so did those other guys.
It's true. Maybe they
Like-
saw the same person. Police began to look around and noticed that the mopeds were still present, but the keys for none of them could be found. Additionally, Gustafsson's shoes were missing and found about a half mile from the crime scene. The investigation was extensive, with over 20,000 people having been interviewed through the years, and more than 7,000. I'm sorry, 20,000. Yeah, and more than 7,000 potential suspects being considered. So yeah,
Because they're looking for a blonde guy in fucking Finland. Like,
Do you have a black coat? Anybody?
the killer had not injured the victims from inside the tent, but instead had attacked the occupants from outside with a knife and an unidentified blunt instrument, possibly a rock, through the sides of the tent. Could it have been a rock? I don't know, because question number 3 is...
said, could it have been a rock? I don't know.
I was like, ooh, what is it then?
So listen, it was probably a rock, but they don't know for sure. The killer had taken several items, which detectives found puzzling, including the keys to the motorcycles we said, Gustafsson's shoes, and the police did not cordon off the site, nor did they record the details of the scene. So that's why there's a lot of... So some of the reports say that Gustafsson's shoes were over a half mile away. Some say that they were like...
500 meters.
That's quite a difference. There's a lot of evidence they believe might have been traipsed over because they didn't cordon off anything, and it may have been just trampled upon. The mistake was further exacerbated by calling in soldiers to assist with the search around the lake and the missing items, several of which were never found. Bjorklund, Gustafsson's girlfriend, was found undressed from the waist down and was lying on top of the tent, and she had suffered the most injuries out of all the victims. She was stabbed multiple times after her death, whilst the other 2 teenagers were slain with less brutality. Gustafsson was also found lying on top of the tent. However, police were not able to identify any clear suspects or motives. Several theories were proposed, including robbery gone wrong, a sexual assault, and a vendetta against one of the victims' families. Those are all like reasonable things.
A family vendetta, that's fucking metal,
what year
dude.
did this thing happen again?
1960.
1879.
1960.
These tents could not hold a person if the person was on top of it. Hey,
I mean, like a tent.
No. Like it's collapsed and they're laying on top of it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been fully collapsed. It's now become a blanket
Obviously.
to them. Yeah,
Plus,
yeah.
what
I'm
the fuck?
imagining someone just laying on top
Like they're
of the peak
planking?
of a tent.
Yeah,
Like-
I was like,
like
dude,
Snoopy?
what kind of tents did they have in the 60s that we don't have now?
You don't know what Finnish tent technology was like in the 60s.
Google just told me. It's not that.
I can see your hands. No, it didn't.
You are holding a child, sir.
Well, I wasn't. There's another monitor that I Googled.
No, you didn't. Let's see here. I gotta find another question to make up in the meantime.
What brand of tent was it found? And then just like make up an answer for the person you've known the longest and
Coleman.
sold a baby. I don't know. Whatever.
Coleman.
Okay, here we go.
I can go pick up my
He's-
dog. I think that trumps baby.
I got 2 of these little shitheads.
Yeah, but 1 dog equals 2 babies.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
got 3 dogs.
Whoa.
But one's a Chihuahua.
Whoa.
Ooh,
Negative-
that's minus points.
Negative points, yeah.
Okay, so no clear suspects or motives. Several theories were proposed, including the robbery gone wrong, sexual assault, vendetta against family. Over the years, there have been several potential suspects identified in the case. The first suspect was Gustafsson himself. He survived. His girlfriend was attacked with a special brutality. He was found without her. However, he was eventually cleared of any involvement around that time. Valdemar Gilstrom, who was also one of the potential suspects in the Lake Boda murders case. He was a kiosk owner who lived in the area and was known to have a fascination with the murders. Gilstrom reportedly followed the case closely and was known to have kept newspaper clippings and other information from the murders in his possession. There's a lot of, I feel like, red herrings in this case.
It's because it's Finland. They large fish diet.
They're real into the herring. The police began to investigate Gilstrom as a suspect after it was discovered that he had made several trips to the campsite in the days following the murders. They always return to the scene. During one of these trips, he was seen, question number 3.
Here we go.
Ooh, it's a rock.
He was seen carrying something into the campsite. Was it A, what appeared to be a human body? B, what appeared to be weapons to hide in the lake? C, a large bag that he was dragging? Or D, an unidentified armful of items? Your baby distracted the shit out of me. So remember, a bunch of things went missing.
I went with D because I forgot.
Okay, armful of stuff, and Thomas has a bag full of stuff. Sorry that I had to make one up here, guys. That's my own fault. But Thomas is going to get the points because, yeah, he was seen carrying a heavy bag full of stuff, or dragging, rather, a heavy bag full of stuff through the campsite.
Not to be confused with the bag that could have had a body in it, which
Or a
wouldn't have
rock.
been heavy stuff. Or a rock.
No, I
upset
didn't
rock
say,
wasn't
but I
an
said
option.
what appeared to be a body, like he was just carrying a body.
Oh, I imagined it in a bag.
Yeah, see, you let your
Princess
imagination run wild.
Well, it does that.
But here's the thing, Paul, TM. You're going to need to get these next 2 questions right.
I've already got them right. They're both rock.
Cool. Or else Thomas is going to move on to the next round. Here's the thing,
Thomas will do
too.
it.
We're very close to the next question because I had to make one up in the meantime here. I like to space them out normally. But anyway, the police had also discovered that Gilstrom had...
If I get it wrong, don't tell us to draw suspense for the 5th question.
I don't hate
won't
that.
matter if-
I don't hate that. we'll just make it. We'll wing it all here today. The police also discovered that Gilstrom had a history of mental illness and had been hospitalized several times for psychiatric treatment. Like, this guy seems like the dude, right?
Right.
Furthermore, they found that he had a criminal record, having been convicted of several minor offenses over the years. Despite the circumstantial evidence against him, the police were unable to find any concrete evidence linking Gilstrom to the murders. They did not have enough evidence to charge him with the crime, and he was ultimately released from custody. Gilstrom continued to live in the area for several years following the murders, but reportedly became increasingly reclusive and paranoid until he died in 1969. Question number 4. Another suspect had what we will call a silly name. What was it? Was it A, Thomas Dick, B, Wilhelm Puperton, C, Jan Dandruff, or D, Hans Assmann?
All those certified bangers.
Cool. Was it Thomas Dick, Wilhelm Puperton, Jan Dandruff, or Hans Assmann? Paul, I like that Paul's just been giggling this whole time.
I mean,
I don't know which one to choose. They all seem so real and fake at the same time.
You said Assman.
Thomas Dick, Wilhelm Puperton, Jan Dandruff, or Hans Assmann? All right, what do we got here, Paul? All right. Wilhelm Puperton from Thomas and Jan Dandruff from Paul. We're not going to tell if anybody got it right. We're just going to keep moving on to the last question.
It was the only thing that didn't seem poop related because I forgot what A was by the time you got to B.
The problem is that I have to tell you because this whole next part of the story is the name.
Tell you what, I'll forget what I chose. Thomas, you do the same. And then it's still a mystery, you know?
Okay, so Thomas is going to be moving on to the next round. Paul, thank you for joining us today. It's not because
he's upset.
He looks so happy. It's not because you got it correct, Thomas. It's because Paul can't get enough points from here on out. Because, guys, Hans Assmann was one of the potential suspects in the Lake Bodom murders case. I spent so much time coming up with the three fake names that sounded slightly Finnish, like Puperton.
Just imagine Danny coming in. Hey, babe, what are you working on? I'm thinking of fake names that sound like Puperton.
I wonder where I came up with dandruff. I just looked down at my shirt. I was like, oh.
Found it.
That was easy.
So Hans Assmann was one of the potential suspects in the Lake Bodom murders case. He was a German-born former SS officer who had been moved to Finland in the 1950s and was living in the area at the time of the murders. Assmann was known to have a violent and abusive personality. No way. And he had a history of alcohol abuse. The police began to investigate Assmann as a suspect after it was discovered that he'd been seen in the area on the night of the murders.
I'm the ass man, Jerry.
A woman who lived near the campsite reported seeing a man who resembled Assmann near the lake on the night of the murders. I told you earlier.
Dog, I love that you're just steering. It's not Assman. It's
Assman. Additionally, the police found a pair of boots that matched the description of those worn by the killer near Assman's home.
Assman boots.
During the... That's my brand, patent pending. Called it. During the investigation, the police learned that Assmann had a history of violence and had been involved in several other incidents in the area,
including war crimes in Germany in 1944.
He was known to have attacked a group of teenagers with an axe in 1958 and had reportedly threatened his wife and children with violence on several occasions. Furthermore, Assmann was known as a sadist and was reportedly fascinated with violent crimes. I feel like this guy probably should have been on a certain trial. You know what? Never mind. Despite the evidence against him, the police were unable to find any concrete evidence linking Assmann to the murders. He denied any involvement in the crime, was ultimately released from custody. Assmann left Finland shortly after the investigation and moved to Spain, where he lived for several years before returning to Germany. Assmann continued to be a suspect in the case for many years, and some investigators believe that he may have been involved in the murder somehow, if not directly, like he's responsible in some way.
He said, here's this bag of stuff, take it in there and crush this tent.
With a rock.
Yeah.
You big blonde bitch.
In late 2004, almost 44 years after the event, Wilhelm Gustafsson was not a suspect in the case initially, but he was arrested. And in early 2005, the Finnish National Bureau of Investigation declared the case was solved based on a forensic analysis. According to the prosecution's interpretation of the bloodstains, Gustafsson had been drunk and excluded from the tent when he attacked the other boy, getting his jaw broken in a fight, which escalated into him committing 3 murders and injuring himself to make it appear as if...
That is escalation, yeah.
Yeah.
That's escalation to the fullest
That's
degree.
what wounds are self-inflicted like they can today.
Well,
He clearly slashed himself from left to right.
if they were, because the trial started on August 4th of 2005, and Gustafsson's defense lawyer argued that the murders were a work of one or more outsiders, and that Gustafsson would have been incapable of killing 3 people given the extent of his own injuries. It had always been known that the shoes worn by the killer and hidden by him about 500 yards or half a mile, depending on the report you read, away from the tent belonged to Gustafsson, who was found barefoot on top of the tent. Modern DNA analysis was significant in the prosecution as it showed that the 3 murdered victims' blood was on Gustafsson's shoes, but Gustafsson's was completely absent. The prosecution said that it followed from the lack of Gustafsson's blood on the shoes that his injuries had occurred at a different time to the attack on the murdered victims, and that the only explanation of this was that Gustafsson had committed the murders, then faked the theft of items by hiding them and further injured himself and went back to the tent where he now, barefoot, could pretend to be unconscious. So he just laid there all morning until he was discovered.
Man, that does not seem like enough to convict to me.
Well, let's see. The prosecution attempted to bolster their case by alleging an identification by 2 bird watchers. They saw a blonde guy. It was Gustafsson. It was Wilhelm.
Could have been ass man.
Yeah, the tall blonde man at the scene of the crime, an assertion that he had been overheard making an incriminating remark, and also that a decade after the event had boasted to a woman about his guilt.
He said, I can't believe I'm getting away with killing 3 people and faking my own injuries.
On October 7th, 2005, Gustafsson was acquitted of all charges. The court explained the verdict was due to the prosecution evidence being inconclusive, failure to show Gustafsson had a motive appropriate to a crime of such extreme seriousness. The certainty about the facts now being impossible given the time that had elapsed. So basically, it's been 44 fucking years. We don't know. We can't. There's a lot of stuff we can't put together.
Right.
You think you have some new evidence, but it's pretty circumstantial, and it's pretty not strong enough. So Gustafsson was acquitted of all charges. So
Good for him.
Like I said, that didn't feel like enough to. It didn't feel like enough to hang a conviction on like that. I feel like, especially in Finland, they've got the whole beyond a shadow of a doubt thing, and some blood on some shoes that weren't on him.
Right, and we,
Leaves a shadow of a doubt.
being acquitted of a crime doesn't mean that you didn't do it. It just means
you weren't charged.
You weren't charged, and you couldn't be proved. So Gustafsson could be our guy. I don't know, but
Didn't OJ get acquitted?
Yep. The last question.
Toad's innocent.
The last question. It doesn't matter, but Paul gets some more points on the board for you. On October 7th, no. Question number 5. Gustafsson was paid for mental suffering caused by the long remand and the case. How many euros did the Finnish government pay him? He was held in prison for about a year. If that helps.
That's so wild, man.
Yeah. So they paid him for his mental suffering and long remand. Was it A, 10,000, B, 49,000, C, 150,000, or D, 267,000 euros? 10, 49, 150, or 267. The only reason I'm not making a stab exception is I'm trying to keep scores consistent.
Yeah.
All right.
One of my episodes is all stabs.
700 rocks.
Is it? No. What'd you say, Paul? It's not 700 rocks.
700 rocks.
10,000, 49, 150, or 267?
Rocks. Just choose one. I've already lost. Let's move on.
All right.
Stupid.
Cool. I'll choose the wrong one for you.
C.
Thomas.
C.
Okay. Paul said C. That's also the wrong answer. Thomas said A, 10,000 euros. It was B, 49,000 euros. The state of Finland paid him 44,900 euros for the mental suffering caused by the long remand time, but he was refused permission to sue Finnish newspapers for defamation. With nearly 60 years having passed since the events of June 1960, no answers appear to be forthcoming. The crime is still part of Finnish folklore, and it has inspired one heavy metal band to dub themselves Children of Bodom. The band even released a beer made of water that was purified and taken from the lake. That's pretty metal.
Dude. I have heard of Children of Bodom and listened to some of their music.
There is a it's in Finnish, but it's there's a horror film, or maybe it's a short series.
And it's not finished.
I think it's called Children of Bodom as well, or something, Lake Bodom Murder. There's a Netflix movie on it. It looks really cool.
Search Bodom, you'll find it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a person who's down to read with subtitles, then you're good. Some in Finland have tried to
79 Bodom murders though. Not
exactly. Some in Finland have tried to turn Gustafsson's claim that he didn't remember anything into an inadvertent confession. If he couldn't remember what happened, how did he know that he didn't do it? But such logic is not for the purview of courtrooms. So it's a fun little thing to do. It's like why OJ can write if I did it.
Right.
Another question is why Gustafsson's shoes were left so far from the campsite. If he took them off in sleep, why not place them near the tent? As for the blonde man the boys saw walking away from that later, they who was that guy? Ass man was blonde, but it's not entirely clear what hair color Gustafsson had at the time of the attacks. But brunette is what his younger pictures appear.
Oh,
so
freak.
All right. The only clarity around the murders is that someone was successful in killing 3 people at the shore of Lake Bodom. Whether it was a man, woman, group, or something with glowing red eyes, they appear to have gotten away with it. Congratulations, Thomas. You'll be moving on to the semifinals. Take a victory lap here and say hello to the people.
Fuck you, Paul.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
That was well done.
Yeah, I was going to say, he stuck the landing and everything.
You have done that better, and for that, I appreciate you. And I'm rooting for you in future. Hey, stop crying.
If you can say you lost to the eventual champion, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, totes. So just beat everybody because you're better than them. Also, ogres rule.
In our next matchup, we brought in, again, longtime fan. I'll say part show historian. She's definitely done a lot of legwork and listening to the show and telling me that I get scores wrong a lot, which is I 100% believe that. She has been around for a very long time listening to the show. It's hard to think about the fact we've been doing this almost 6 years.
Yeah.
So there are some people who've literally been here with us for the better part of a decade.
Half a decade. And we appreciate you. So she got to come in and compete for the second time. You guys have heard her on the second episode of this season. Yeah. So we'll welcome back Slewis. And also stepping in because he wasn't available initially. So we had Jim come in, and he was going to compete. Jim had a scheduling conflict towards the end. Then we got this guy to step into Jim's slot like 12 hours before it started. So good last-minute starter. We appreciate his help. He came in and competed with the heart of a champion. Cactus. Rich Port.
Yeah, Rich Port. So this is another matchup for you guys. Get ready, a legendary one. Cactus versus Slewis.
Okay, so welcome to the Serial Chillers podcast. I'm Greg. I'm hosting this episode, this short. So, be ready for that. Jesse, of course, is right here.
Oi.
Running the gauntlet today with me.
Literally just sitting down right now.
Yeah, well,
That's
not
all
physically
the-
running the gauntlet.
Okay, I see what you're
If it was that, I wouldn't be doing it
Yeah,
either.
I guess we didn't point out that we're going to be here for like 10 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day. It's cool. We got this. Obviously, we did this at the start of the last short, but I'll hit it again. Most of you know how the show works, but let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Some weeks I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends and tell the story of a conspiracy theory, something true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious. If something isn't clear, be sure to chime in, because if you have questions about the questions, make sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never asked questions. Are there any questions?
Fucking Greg is better than me at that now.
You like that? I kind of high-stepped through that at the end
that
there.
was good. All right, Dion. Fucking Neon Dion. Just, Jesus Christ. And you even I see that you swapped out serial killer with conspiracy theory. I see there's a little tweak every time. I like it. Great job.
It's
Great
just
job, Greg.
I know where the boundaries are. I know how to stay in my lane.
You wrote the rules.
All right, well then, welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. You guys probably couldn't hear that, but it was loud as shit. So I don't know. Before we get too far into this, have you guys heard of number stations before?
No.
No. Okay.
The code, the left codes and shit.
Kind
for
of.
other people.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right,
That's
Cactus
cool.
is a little. Introduce him. Don't forget to introduce him.
Yeah. We have Slewis and Cactus. I have it.
Okay. My bad.
I didn't know how we were gonna do these, so I wrote them like an actual episode. So I have
Okay.
like the Jeopardy intro thing. But,
Okay, my bad.
That's cool. Cactus, Slewis, thank you guys both for being here. I really appreciate it. This is gonna be fun.
We're professionals, you guys.
So just disclaimer: if I accidentally activate a sleeper agent during this episode, I'm sorry. I did not mean to. Question number 1: which war brought us the use of number stations? Was it A, World War I, B, World War II, C, Vietnam, or D, the Cold War? Which I know isn't like technically a war, but it's a war.
Fucking
It was
night.
a different type of war.
I'm going Cold War.
Cold War. What do you got, Cactus?
Same Cold War.
Same Cold War. The original number stations they came out in the closing years of World War I. They were medium and low frequency Morse code transmissions, and in the 1920s they became shortwave radio because that became more popular, and they're a lot more like the number stations that we know now. So now that we got the first question out of the way, do you guys have anything you want to plug? We'll do some full intros here, Slewis. Anything you want to? No.
Don't find me anywhere.
Perfect. Cactus.
I got nothing, bro.
All right.
Good.
That's
Join
perfect.
the Discord to hang out with these people.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
all it is.
Oh yeah.
But don't find them there.
Probably not me, because I'm never in there anymore.
I send her one and then I message Eddie and go, "Hey, tell Slewis to look at her messages."
All right, so these number stations, they seem to be the remnants of some Cold War espionage, but they have their origins in something much more innocent. One of the things I read said that the number stations were originally for fishing vessels. They would read coded weather reports because it was a lot easier to broadcast a burst of numbers that you could look through in your little guide and figure out what the water conditions and the weather and all that stuff was going to look like for the day. That makes sense to me, I guess, but I do have a beef with that, and I'll bring it up later. These are all shortwave radio band transmissions, and for those who don't operate ham radios or don't know what a shortwave is,
So all of you.
for whatever reason, I can't spell shortwave, so almost every time it's in the outline, it says shortweave. But for those who don't know what shortweave is, here's my oversimplified explanation. Basically, there's different types of radio frequencies, and the AM radio frequency travels along the ground and follows the curve of the Earth, giving it a large footprint. FM radio frequency, which broadcasts straight out from the transmitter, so it has a much shorter range. It just comes straight out in line, goes where it goes. Shortwave, which is between the two, uses the ionosphere and reflects the signal around the globe, so it gives it a much bigger, and it basically uses the atmosphere as an antenna. These radio transmissions are untraceable, meaning you can track their approximate location, but you're not going to have an easy time pinning down their exact location or where it was exactly broadcasted from.
How nefarious.
I mean, how hard,
I guess during war, it's kind of an important thing.
imagine trying to, pinpoint the exact location of a CB radio, though. You know what I mean?
I've seen Joyride. You can't. Candy cane.
Only if you have an ice cream truck. One of the craziest things about the number stations is that nobody's claimed them. There hasn't been a single person in any government body anywhere who's been like, "Oh yeah, by the way, that was ours. We used that during the Cold War."
In a world where countries go, "Fuck yeah, that terrorist attack was us."
Mm-hmm. Nobody. Or what's even more strange, and like I said about the whole fishing thing, is that nobody's been like, "Oh yeah, dude, we use that for our fishing vessels because they're out there catching crab off the coast of Maine. So we just put this little blast out there so they know, hey, today's a low tide day, so maybe watch your shit." Or whatever, nobody has said anything like that.
It's a mystery.
So, my wife asked if it's possible that they're just they're such a nothing burger that nobody's thought to claim it. Nobody's been like, hey.
They didn't even realize there's a conspiracy theory about it.
Right, just governments are wait, what? People they can hear those? You know what I mean?
We didn't even know you guys knew about these.
Yeah.
Put the radio on.
I said, I told her, of course that's possible, but then kind of what's the point of the FCC? Because if you broadcast on shortwave radio, if you have a ham operator, you have to have a license. Otherwise, you're considered pirate radio, and that's a huge FCC fine, and they shut you down.
That was that whole
What?
Philip Seymour Hoffman movie was about. Like, it's called Pirate Radio.
Yeah, and that's the whole deal is that like when you operate on public broadcasts like that, you have to operate within a certain set of rules that are defined by the FCC.
Slewis, you're learning more than you thought you would today.
And
It's a great episode. I always learn.
whether it's useful or not. But so basically, I said, what's the point of having the FCC if they just let this stuff go? You know what I mean? So obviously somebody knows about it because like I have a hard time believing that somebody at the FCC wasn't like, hey, did you hear this broadcast? And somebody else heard it and was like, yeah, that's nothing. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
You know what
Hell
I
of a
mean?
guy right there.
It's like, don't ask questions, bro.
They're basically the way they work is that there's a data blast. It sounds like a fax machine or like a 56K dial-up modem, and then before some of the messages, and then basically this guy found that there's a software that can encrypt physical data and convert it into an audio wave, transport it over airwaves, record it, and decrypt it, and then have that physical information.
What?
So it's like a radio fax machine.
Okay.
Oh, see, thank you.
Yeah. So I do have a couple of the more popular hits of these, but I don't know if it'll work broadcast like playing it through.
Yeah, they won't be able to hear.
One of so some of these have kind of ridiculous names. This one's called CIS MFSK-20 XPA or Enigma Designation XPA. It's currently still in use. Since 2011, it has a couple of different broadcast like frequencies, and it stopped using one of them. It stopped using the 20 baud DSB mode, whatever the fuck that means. It just uses the 10 baud USB mode. So for all my ham radio operators out there,
course. Yeah, that makes total sense.
yeah, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I believe you.
For the rest of us, we're like, the fuck does that mean? Part of it.
With my extensive licensing, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it was very outdated.
So part of this stuff has been descrambled and it's available to read. It's literally just blocks of numbers.
I was gonna say, I just think of that Homer Simpson sound drop. Boring.
I mean, it's like a block of numbers and they're like 5 digits at a time.
Yeah.
And just so question number 2:
zip codes.
Who's believed to be the owners of Enigma Designation XPA? Is it A, the CIA, B, the United States Foreign Affairs Committee, C, the German Foreign Intelligence Agency, or D, the Russian Intelligence and Foreign Ministry?
Slewis, let Cactus get his answer out there after you've written yours.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Got it? Cactus?
Can I get the names again? I'm sorry.
CIA, United States Foreign Affairs Committee, German Foreign Intelligence Agency, or Russian Intelligence Foreign Ministry?
D.
B, as in boy?
D.
D as in dog. Russian Intelligence and Foreign Ministry.
As in,
Okay.
don't say my answer was B.
Yeah.
All right, Slewis, what do you got?
C.
C, German Foreign Intelligence Agency. The answer is the Russian Intelligence and Foreign Ministry. Cactus gets 250 points there.
Plenty of time, Slewis. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Classic.
SP-14XP is no longer in use, but it's another one of the number stations that's out there. It's also a product of the Russian Intelligence Foreign Ministry and is no longer online. There's not a lot of information on these. As I said, nobody really wants to fess up and talk about what they are. There's another one out there called the Lincolnshire Poacher, and it's an old folk song from Lincolnshire. It's considered to be the country anthem, and according to their Wikipedia. But this number station is a broadcast the tune followed by a changing sequence of numbers.
Have you learned nothing? You know that's like Lancashire.
Right. Yeah, no, I know, but I figure if I say it this way, they won't
Craig,
try and get me to take it down again.
I have made these mistakes,
I know.
so you don't have to.
I crawled so you can walk. I would play it, but the last time I tried to play something like this, it
Yeah,
got
we got a
taken.
copyright strike.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it like I am, so they don't find it.
Lancashire.
Yeah, it sounds like an 8-bit version of the song, and you can look it up. You can totally look up the song, and you can look up the
Tell them what it's called again.
Lincolnshire Poacher.
Boom.
Poacher. There's a number station based on a famous cartoon character. Question number 3. Who?
How fun!
Is it A, Daffy Duck, B, Yosemite Sam, C, Popeye, or D, Elmer Fudd?
He said Yosemite Sam.
I've only seen the word written down. I've never heard somebody say it.
Run, Lisa. Run like the wine.
You guys got your answers? You want me to run them back again?
One more time.
Please.
A, Daffy Duck, B, Yosemite Sam, C, Popeye, or D, Elmer Fudd?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cactus.
C.
Popeye.
I'm going D.
Elmer Fudd. No points awarded. This was the Yosemite Sam number station.
It was Yosemite.
It was Yosemite. I knew it.
I inadvertently tried to give you guys a hint that I didn't know the answer to.
Yosemite Sam number station is a broadcast that begins on one of the frequencies and then 10 seconds later is repeated on the next higher frequency and so on for a total of 2 full minutes. And then the entire pattern takes actual 2 minutes to go through all the frequencies, and it always begins 7 seconds after the top of the hour. So 7 seconds after the top of the hour, you hear a data burst for less than a second, followed by Yosemite Sam yelling, "Varmint, I'm gonna blow you to smithereens."
I do remember this now.
And it was and for whatever reason that's the number station. That's how it broadcasts. And it does it 7 seconds after the top of the hour, and then every 10 seconds it starts over on the next frequency higher, and it runs for 2 full minutes. The clip was taken from a 1949 Warner Brothers Merry Melodies cartoon, Bunker Hill Bunny. The broadcast ceased on December 23rd, 2004, but returned during February of 2005 on its old frequencies, plus additional new frequencies, including those of time signals. There's 2 stations that it took over, station WWV and WWVH. I'm not sure what that means, but...
Well, Greg, join the rest of us.
Yeah. Talking ham. I feel like there's somebody out there who knows ham radio and is listening to this, and they're just like, "You fucking Philistine."
Yeah. Why are you saying it like that?
So the reception reports seem to indicate that the transmitter site was likely somewhere in the desert around Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Nothing interesting has ever happened there, right?
Well, I think that's funny because how many times has Bugs Bunny said, "Oh, I took a wrong turn in Albuquerque."
That's true.
You know what I mean? And
he
now
loves Albuquerque and Walla Walla, Washington.
What's that?
I do hear that phrase too.
It's not words that are dirty. It's words that sound dirty.
Walla Walla.
Keokek. So there's another number station called The Buzzer. It's known as UVB 76 and known by the nickname The Buzzer. It's a shortwave radio station that broadcasts on the frequencies 4625 and 4810 kilohertz. It broadcasts a short, monotonous buzz tone, repeating at a rate of approximately 25 tones per minute, 24 hours a day. It just sits there and goes, "Meh, meh."
That's not annoying.
Not at all. Sometimes the buzzer signal is interrupted and a voice transmission in Russian takes place. Yeah.
Really quickly, you know how they say that, like, hell will be, like, your least favorite? You'll have to do, like, the thing you hate the most.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would be me sitting in a room where that's playing over the speaker and someone's just sitting in there clicking a pin.
Ooh.
That'd be like, you could not torture me more.
Can't do repetitive
And I'm not trying to
things.
get a soft sentence in hell or anything. That would literally be the worst fucking torture I could
The
think of.
devil's over there just writing stuff down, and he's like, okay, wait a second.
Wait, and the dude who's clicking a pin is also going
snapping gum?
No, he's going every 10 seconds.
Well, that's me. Did we do question number 4 yet?
No.
No, perfect. Question number 4. The reports of a station on this frequency, the buzzer, 4625 and 4810.
Because they all have really catchy names.
The first reports of a station on this frequency were made in 1973. True or false? I fucked that up. I can't even recover that. I don't know why I fucking put the year in there.
Back-to-back questions. I fucked one up on the last episode.
Yeah.
I literally gave the answer away right before it was. So you'll just have to do what I did.
Yeah, no, that's I'll figure it out. So sometimes the buzzer signal is interrupted and a voice transmission in Russian takes place. The first reports of the station on this frequency were made in 1973. There's the station known as the buzzer in both English and Russian. Until 2010, the station identified itself as UVB 76, and it's often referred to as that name. In September of 2010, the station moved to another location and identified as MDZHB. On
Medizahub.
yeah, eventually it changed its call sign. What year did it change its call sign?
1973.
It's not 1973. Because in 2000,
Sorry, I'm funny.
2010 it changed frequencies. After that it changed its call sign. Okay. Closest to the answer gets 250 points, 500 if you nail it. What year did it change its call sign?
This could be a major fucking swing, you guys.
What's the score? What's it looking like?
It's 250, Cactus. Slewis doesn't have anything. This is the fourth question. Slewis, you could tie it up. If you're the closest, you could take the lead if you nail it.
Cactus, what do you got?
2015.
2015.
Ooh, 2014.
2014. She is tying it up. Ooh. It was 2011 when it changed its call sign. Yeah. And then
Bob.
on December 28th, 2015, the station began using a different call sign. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce these call signs because they're in Cyrillic. So I don't know how to pronounce them.
How do you spell it?
What is Cyrillic?
Russian,
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you even spell that
the
word?
Russian characters.
Russian writing. Like backwards R's and like the X with the thing down the middle and
K's that flip sideways.
That's a 3, dog. That's a 3.
Yeah, I don't know hieroglyphics, bro.
You see it?
I don't know hieroglyphics. Maybe there's just not a key for it, so they just put a 3 in.
I mean, it's a 3.
The way you just offended so many people.
How? They have no idea. They speak in goofy letters. So yes, in 2019, the station appeared, the one with all the Cyrillic call signs. It switched to ANVF, and it is still in use. Still just a Russian number station out there. There's one called the Squeaky Wheel, and it's a nickname given by radio listeners. It's a utility shortwave radio station that broadcasts a distinctive sound. From around 2000 until 2008, the station's attention tone was a high-pitched two-tone signal that vaguely resembled a squeaky wheel. From 2008, the channel marker changed to 2 different tones in a short sequence, repeated with a short silent gap. It's exactly what it sounds like. Imagine if you were like playing like an old Nintendo game with like the brick controller, and there was like a squeaky wheel in the game that just went doot 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 doot. It's that. That's the tone on the number station.
That would be the Nintendo Entertainment System, Greg.
Yeah, NES. Actually, those use 16-bit. That would drive you nuts.
Absolutely, I would turn it on. Where's that coming from? Can't play the game.
Can't be a spy, man, because you got to listen to that stuff.
Exactly.
So the frequencies were 5473 kilohertz during the day and 3828 at night. Several times a voice message in the format of strategic flash messages have been reported. The exact transmitter site's unknown, but it's thought to be near Rostov-on-Don, Russia.
100% pronounced correctly.
I have it spelled phonetically. Rostov-on-Don.
Yeah, Rastafari!
Yeah. The signal strength's not very good in Central Europe, and the signal sometimes even disappears for days, just in the signal noise. But the Enigma designation is S32, with the S indicating a Slavic language. However, from 2000 to 2005, it was designated as XSW when the voice on the station was unknown. Question number 5. There's another number station that's believed to broadcast from the same location. What's the name of this number station? Is it A, the beep, B, the pip, C, the chirp, or D, the blip? You got your answers?
Yeah.
All right, let me hear it.
All right, wait a second.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Before we give our answers, Lucy, you got yours written down, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is it.
This is question number 5.
Somebody's got to get this right. If neither of you have got it right, Greg's going to make up another one, and it's going to have to be a closest to something. so that someone's going to get it. So just keep that in mind. All right, Cactus, give us that answer, buddy.
It's pressure, man.
Yeah.
B.
What do you got?
B.
B, the pip.
The pip.
What'd you say, Slewis?
C.
C, the chirp. There is another number station, and it is called the pip. A few times a year it's been heard, or a few times it's got the same background noise in both recordings. And so, yeah, Cactus gets the points.
Cactus with the shot at the buzzer.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next round.
That was it. That was it at the buzzer. That was a good shot. Good try.
Mama, get the camera.
I should have gone with my gut. I knew it.
Did you want to say the pip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always go with your gut, as Hella Greg says.
That's it. That's how you're supposed to do it on this show.
Sounds like some shit Hella Greg would make up, so damn.
Well, the other three were ones that I made up, so
Mistakes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a couple of times they've been like listening to the squeaky wheel and heard stuff in the background, like heard a television show in the background when the mic was just like open. And then
it's like watching All in the Family.
I mean, it's something like that. They're watching Good Time Happy American Sitcom. And they're like and then they like listen to the pip and they can hear the same show in the background with the mic open, so they're like, "Oh shit, this is the same this is coming from the same place."
That's cool.
Which I think that's a neat thing to find. There's also yeah, go ahead, lay it on me.
See, this is all. Maybe it's the language barrier, but I wanna. What's the purpose of these number station? Sleeper agents?
We don't know. The problem is because nobody has come out and said, "Hey, these are our number stations. This is what they do. This is what we use them for." There's speculation. Like, I mean, it could be. So I know, like, back in the day, the CIA used to use like a daily code, and you had a daily code book, and this number meant this thing, and this number meant this thing, and this number meant this thing, and it was different every single day. And they would get their codes from number stations, or allegedly get their codes from number stations. So they would turn on the shortwave radio broadcast. They could hear the data burst. They know the numbers are coming. They listen. They hear the numbers. They write it down, translate it, mission directive for the day or whatever. But because nobody has said, "Hey, these are a Cold War remnant from when we were spying on Russia," that's all that is. Or, "Hey, this is for our fishing vessels so they know what the tide's going to be like today." Or, "Hey, fuck you, you don't need to know what that is." Like, there has been nothing of any of the sort on any of that stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot
It's a strange thing to go unclaimed because, like I said, like literally terrorist attack happens or like bombings or missile strikes, and the country's like, "Yeah, that was us. What's up, bitch?"
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. So for
tuned,
no country to be like, "Yeah, those are ours. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah, like,
and even not even explain it. It's
yeah,
like,
you don't even
what
have to
do?
explain it. You
What
just
you can do, bitch. Yeah, those are ours.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's strange that like you can be in the United States and hear a Russian one. And the U.S. hasn't been like, "Hey, we got to figure out how to jam that signal." You know what I mean? It feels like the weather balloon all over again, where they're just like, "Yo, that shit floated from Alaska all the way down to Oregon and over to Montana, and you guys just let that happen." You know,
checking some stuff out.
You're gonna get a knock tomorrow, bro.
Yeah,
the fucking bunker.
fog them.
Fog 'em.
Like,
Yeah.
my question: what do you guys think? If this my last question. Do you think? Because it's scary when you don't know. Like, nobody has claimed it in so many years.
So
usually when they claim it,
I think it is probably like a mission directive thing, like for some sort of espionage. But that's because I like to think that that's still going on. I like to think that espionage is still like it was in the 60s and 70s, where it was you have to get in there and you have to wear the fake mustache and you have to like press the guy's face into the iris scanner and use his hand for the thumbprint to get into
the eyeball.
Yeah, like you have to do all that cool like Mission Impossible, James Bond, like Archer type stuff. And
to this day, that's still a good system though, because it's like, oh, you don't have to use a cell phone. You don't have to use a walkie-talkie. It's like you just, like I know you need a ham radio, but like.
But I mean, you could use a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if nothing else, you just hear the beeps in Yosemite Sam, and you know what to do.
Right. Well, see,
it's 2023, and nobody has had any clue.
Well, and here's part of the reason why.
It's an agreement between. I know it's shocking, but maybe it's just an agreement between everybody that this is how. If everything goes down, if all the shit happens, this is where we communicate because it's the only way we will be able to.
It's where they're going to launch all the giant boats that the billionaires are on when the world floods. That's how they're all being communicating about it. That's what I think.
I mean, I think Slewis has a really good point.
Noah's Ark 2.0, 3.0, 4.0.
It's like, hey, this is our open broadcast station in case of emergency. And so they put placeholders in there. What's the placeholder? It has to be something that has a data burst so that everything that hears it knows it's a placeholder. And it doesn't matter what goes on after that. And so
that's Lewis, you solved the crime.
Eventually, you get a Russian woman saying, "This is just a placeholder." But it's all Russian and we're hearing it on shortwave radio so in 1984, so it sounds all fucking nefarious. But no, I think that's a perfectly logical explanation for what it is or what it could potentially be. But I also think there's
100% use it for suspicious activities.
Absolutely.
That's way cooler, at least.
Like, why would you need licensing for that? That's wild. Only because
it's public broadcast. Because everybody has to hear it. There's also a thing called Sky King, which is it's fun. I found it on the internet.
Cool.
It's such a fun thing to see when it happens. So in the United States military Strategic Nuclear Weapon Command and Control, there's an emergency action message, and it's a pre-formatted message that directs nuclear-capable forces to execute specific major attack options or limited attack options in a nuclear war. There's military commands that the U.S. military chain of command would use to launch a nuclear strike. Individual countries or specific regions may be included or withheld from the emergency action message as specified in the single integrated operation plan. Basically, they use cryptographic protocols and digital signatures and authentication messages. But when they broadcast, it's the craziest thing. You'll hear them come on the radio, and the plane that they're broadcasting to is one of those always flying. It lands every couple of days to change crew and takes back off, and it's never on the ground for very long. They don't shut it off. It just runs. They refuel it in the air and all that stuff. And it's a nuclear capable plane. And you'll hear the message come on, and they're like, Sky King, do not answer. 7, 4, 3, 9. Sky King, do not answer. And then the message ends, and it's like, fuck yeah, dude, what does that mean?
You can hear those too. It's not even just oh, we hear that it says this sometimes. Greg has shown me recordings. Sky King messages.
Dude, listen to this. They're talking to the nuke plane. And it could be they're just hey, circle around and change crews.
Yeah.
Or they're like, hey,
I'm going on break.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to Tim now instead of me. But
did he turn off the stove?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, or it could be hey, low buzz over Kim Jong's house and just flex on him real quick. Who knows? And we laugh about that, but that shit happened in the 60s with the U-2 spy plane. They were in Russia. They were doing this big it was some big Russian holiday, and they were doing this whole big thing about it, and the U-2 spy plane was circling overhead. And somebody looked up and was like, oh, shit. And they were that thing's 90,000 feet in the air just circling. And they were like, we're in trouble. That thing knows we're here. And then that was when they figured out what the U-2 was and had all this. But yeah, it was interesting.
Sky King.
Yeah, Sky King's cool. Yeah, totally. Look it up.
It's cool.
Make sure you get the Sky King from the nuclear plane and not
Crash?
And not Sky King, the guy who stole the Alaska Airlines plane and wrecked it.
Oh, See, oh, okay. See,
You
that's
want
the one
Sky
that popped up
King,
right
not
now.
Sky King.
Yeah, you want Sky King, one word, not Sky King.
Ah, see, that's what popped up.
I'm just gonna do a quick
The guy
barrel roll
stealing
and then put her down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a guy going through some stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got for number stations. Like I said, nobody's claimed them, so we don't know exactly what they do. We know we've got best guess speculations, and I think Slewis, your guess was probably the best, as that they're placeholders for like emergency broadcast stations and stuff like that. That makes the most sense to me. But yeah, thank you both for being here. Cactus, since you won, anything you want to say?
Just want to thank my mama.
Thanks, Cactus's mom.
Thank you, Mama Saguaro.
Thank you guys and Slewis.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next round. Slewis, anything you want to say?
Whoever, if you make it up against Eddie, beat his ass.
There you go. There you go.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you taking time out of your day for a possible all-day event with us.
Hell yeah.
We love you guys very much, and we appreciate you very much.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I don't know. Are we doing like the whole...
Nope.
Don't talk to strangers?
No.
We're
going to do all that stuff at the end.
Cool. Talk to strangers then.
See you guys. Okay. In the next matchup, interesting fact about this matchup, Greg.
Yes.
Significant other to Slewis, Eddie, competed in this one.
There you go.
Eddie's also done some legwork and some historian business. He's been there and supported. I will say Eddie has supported not only the show. Greg and I have both had on and off streaming careers.
He just supports us.
Yeah,
and
Eddie.
Appreciate
and
it.
I'm not saying that other people don't, but Eddie has supported us and been around and just hanging out. I mean, literally for as long as I can remember contacting.
You're my sports bra, Eddie. You're always close to my heart and supporting me in ways I can't even describe.
That's right. I truly, like, I can't remember a time before, like, I remember when we didn't talk, there weren't people that were like, quote unquote, fans of us. So there was no one we were talking to. And it was like one of the first, quote unquote, fans we ever talked to was Eddie. And I think a lot of those early, quote unquote, fans are now just like.
You can just call them fans.
No. Because now they're all friends.
Yeah.
Most of those people have become good friends of ours, and we appreciate them.
That's true.
So Eddie is one of them, and we really appreciate him coming on. And again, little fun fact: we brought a couple in, and they could have met in the championship. Do you think they do? Coming in to compete against Eddie is another one of our favorite and longtime listeners. She keeps us pretty entertained. She plays a lot of video games with us, hangs out quite a bit. Guys, see what happens?
Who's that? The Grease Man?
Yeah, the Grease Man. You come hang out with us. We don't want fans. We want friends. Come hang out with us, guys.
Yeah, we talk to you. We're nice.
Yeah,
mostly.
everything. Did you guys want to play some video games? Let's go. The Grease Man, otherwise known as Grace, came in and she was stoked. I think she was the first person I hit up because when I want to say that I pitched her the idea before it being like a true thing, like when you and I were kind of in
I think we were like talking about it playing games one night, and she was in the chat.
Yeah, so when I made it official, she was the first message I sent to invite because she was kind of like there for its official, like, birth, I would say.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Fuck yeah, say no more. I got the time set aside. I'll make sure I do. I'm there." And we appreciate it. So long intro on this one. Sorry, suck it up. This one is
Eddie v. Grace.
There you go.
Fight.
Something isn't clear, be sure to chime in because if you have questions about questions, be sure to ask questions because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never asked questions. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Good to go.
All right.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How do you feel that stacked up against mine from the last
I don't know.
one?
Yours was really good on that last one. I don't even want to compete. Let's just say it was a draw and bump knuckles. All right, guys. So no questions. You don't have to hit it, Greg. You can throw it in later if you want, unless you want to hit it. Welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. He played the X-Files theme. What a jerk. All right, guys. Real quick introductions, guys. Welcome in. Eddie's been on the show earlier this season. You guys will remember him from like this, I believe, the second episode of the season. He's here for the finale. Welcome back, Eddie.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, it's good to have you again. If you guys are watching in chronological order, you will have just seen Eddie's significant other compete and unfortunately not move on to the next round. Eddie's trying to get some bragging rights in the home tonight.
Oh man!
I'm trying
Wait.
to be let back into the home.
I was gonna say, so
told you that.
yeah, you lost when you guys competed in earlier in the season, right?
Yes.
So but she lost
redemption.
now. So if you win, does that mean you guys are like tied? Does this count the same? Does a tournament win count the same as a regular season win?
Total tournament victory. That's what you're gonna need.
I think that's what asserts dominance for sure.
Total tournament victory equals more than a regular victory. This will be whoever wins today will have won the ultimate episode so far, in my opinion.
Okay.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It is a lot of pressure.
And trying to keep Eddie from doing that, welcome in for the first time, Grace.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
What's great about this tournament is the way it panned out. Is some of our favorite people who were fans of the show became friends. We hang out, and watch movies and play video games now. We become close with a lot of the people that have, the show has been better for making friends than blowing up as a podcast. But I'll actually take that because it's been a pleasure to know you guys, and it's a pleasure to have you guys here today. You guys fucking ready? Because today's subject is the Lost Roanoke Colony.
I like that.
I'm gonna scream. I'm so hyped.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Eddie.
Let's go.
Are
dude.
you hyped because of knowledge?
I'm an East Coaster, bro. Let's go.
And he's like, I'm from San Diego. All right. Well, question number 1. In what year did the ship set sail for this event to take place? Go ahead and write those answers down. It's 250 points for the closest, 500 if you can nail it. We can't give 1,000 today because you'd pretty much automatically win. No one's even scored 1,000 yet. 500 if you can nail it. 250 points for the closest. You guys let me know when you got your answers. History. I always love when you get the history teachers that are like, listen, I'm not going to make you remember a bunch of dates like on the first day. And I was always like, fuck yeah. And then you had the other teachers that were like 1589, 1940, 1970, 1776. And then I drop those ones. And find that other teacher.
Oh, I'm so conflicted. In my bones, I feel like...
And you spoke with so much confidence. Let's see what you got.
I said I was excited. All right, I didn't say
All right, you did.
shit.
You did say hype. You did say hype. You like the event. You didn't say you were had a doctorate in it. All right, you got something written down?
DC or AD?
I'll just trust you. All right, you got an answer, Grace?
All right.
All right.
Let's go.
Throw them up at the same time, guys. What do you got?
I got 1840. It's very tiny. I'm sorry, I write small.
What Eddie say?
Eddie, I can't read yours.
1470.
1840 and 1470.
Give Eddie 250 points because the ship set sail to let this event take place in 1585.
Damn, I didn't think it was that old.
You know what's funny? Neither did I. I 100% thought it was like an 18th century thing. And
I was like, because, right, I was like 1776, it's got to be after that, right? But that makes sense because it definitely was before.
It is literally the first attempt to establish a permanent settlement in the New World.
That makes sense. Yeah.
D-Reich one.
I don't know when that was.
My mind has deceived me.
Like I said, the history teachers that made you remember dates are the biggest pricks in the world.
It feels like one of those things where you're like, oh, Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than she did the building of the pyramids. You
and
know
that's
what I mean?
fucked up information to have floating around in your brain.
Yeah, it feels like one of those like time is a construct things.
Yeah. And I hate that I know that. All right.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's dive into the story a little bit, guys. This is a fun one. We do say dark, true crime, mysterious. It's all in
spooky.
there. Yeah. So The Roanoke colony was an English attempt to establish a permanent settlement in the New World. The expedition was sponsored by Sir Walter Raleigh and consisted of around 120 settlers, including men, women, and children.
Is that the guy who wrote the Jungle Book?
No, he's the guy who has like Raleigh, North Carolina, named after him, though.
If that was, it's Raleigh, by the way. If you say Raleigh when you're over there, you're gonna get hit.
Well, listen, I'll just be like, have you seen my fucking license plates? You guys are gonna give me a break for a while until the drawl comes in.
Does that mean the fast food place Rallies is actually Raleigh's?
No, that's Raleigh's. Slash Checkers.
I was gonna say Checkers, probably.
No, wait. Who wrote? It was Land of the Lost.
Not this dude, I don't think. The Land of the Lost. Isn't that a TV show? Living in the Land of the Lost.
Based on a book.
All right. Are you Arthur Conan Doyle?
That's who I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah. You're close. No, Sir Walter Raleigh. It consisted of around 120 settlers. Okay, so men, women, and children. Sir Walter was a prominent figure in English politics and exploration during the 16th century. He was a close advisor to Queen Elizabeth I and was interested in establishing English colonies in the New World.
I believe they called her Big Liz.
Big Liz. Whoop, whoop. In 1584, he was granted a charter by the Queen to explore and colonize the area now known as North Carolina.
What did they call it?
We'll get there, buddy. Sir Walter was instrumental in coordinating the expedition that led to the establishment of the Roanoke colony. He put together a team of explorers and colonizers, which was led by Sir Richard Grenville. Sir Richard Grenville was an English naval commander and explorer who lived during the 16th century. He was born in 1542 in Devon, England, in a prominent family with strong ties to the sea. I liked that line that it had written in there. They have strong ties to the... Okay, so they were all fishermen, huh?
Right. No, they were all beach bums.
He was known for his naval skills, and he gained a reputation as a fierce and daring leader. That's the kind of shit that lets you discover the New World, man.
He sounds like fucking Zap Brannigan. I sent wave after wave of my own men at them, fearlessly, till the killbots reached their limits.
The expedition set sail on April of 1585 with the goal of establishing a permanent English settlement in the New World. After the disappearance, Grenville went on to serve as a vice admiral of the English fleet that defeated the Spanish Armada in 1588 and continued to play an active role in English naval affairs until his death in 1591. So like a lot of the people who...
Is that the same Grenville from Grenville, Tennessee?
Could be. That one I don't know for sure.
I don't know either. That's why I asked.
Yep. Don't know. Great. You asked a question about a question. Don't have an answer for you.
What are you doing here?
So almost everybody who participated in this, who isn't part of the disappeared, went on to like great success. They're known through history. Greg raised his eyes. What
I've got
sort
a theory.
All right, let's hear. Do you want to let it pan out? Or?
Grace nailed it. Sacrifice. Sounds like they found something. They were like, hey, we're gonna sacrifice the shit out of these people so we could all be dope.
Yeah.
And then
that's a little too coincidental.
And that's how the Illuminati was made.
I don't even think that's like one of the theories. You guys might have just done it. You know what I'm saying?
It's the blue shirts, dude.
So, let's see. Sir Richard Grenville is remembered as an important figure in English naval history and exploration, and his role in the establishment of the first English settlement in the New World is considered to be a significant achievement. The fleet that originally went over was aboard 3 ships. Question number 2. 3 of these names are of the ships. Which was not?
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
I literally almost put Santa Maria on one and didn't because of that. Okay, here are 4 boat names. One of these is not one of the original 3 vessels. Is it the Dorcas, the Mary Margaret, the Elizabeth, or the Lion?
One of those is not like the other.
Dorcas, Mary Margaret, Elizabeth, or the Lion.
You know what's fucked up?
Please, do tell.
All those names are good. They're good names. The Dorcas is the one that like is the outlier to me, obviously.
Sure.
like clearly Dorcas, but
Oh my
you wouldn't.
God.
I feel like you wouldn't put that in there if it was.
I feel like it's too obvious.
Yeah.
Well,
Question
I
for
feel
you.
like I'm getting punked right now.
that's a great thing. I've gotten good enough about writing questions that I can throw those mysteries in there, and you guys got to think about the history
Can
of
I
what
ask
you've heard
how
too.
Dorcas is spelled?
Dorcas, and Eddie had a question as well.
Yeah, for lion, how is that spelled?
That's just Lion.
Country of origin, please.
They're from England. That shit's on the.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Yeah, one of these potential answers is lion. All right, let me know when you guys got it down.
Oh God, I'm in between two right now.
I'm ready.
All right, Eddie's got it. Grace has
Should
got
I send it?
Send it, but remember, go with your gut.
Don't trust your gut. He's lying.
I just want to hear
Okay.
you rap about boats again, Greg. All right, put your answers up.
All right, I chose Mary Margaret.
Lion.
The lion. Whew, here we go, guys. The expedition arrived at Roanoke Island in July of 1585 with 3 boats: the Dorcas, the Elizabeth, and the Lion.
Bro, no shot.
250 points to Grace for that one. We tied it up at 250.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
You went with your gut, didn't you? I told you.
It's
I was like, I don't think they'd have Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth in the same fleet, dude. I don't think that would.
sacrilege.
So again, they so it takes from April to July at this time to get from England to the east coast of the New World. So July 1585, they begin the process of building a fort and establishing a settlement. The settlers faced many challenges. You're going to hear me say that a lot because there are many different situations in which they face many challenges, and you would expect them to. Some of them
They're colonizing a new world.
Some of them were very expected challenges. They brought the necessary supplies to take care of these challenges. Some of them were like, holy shit, other humans live here?
Which is just baffling to me.
Right. So the settlers
This isn't
faced
the end of the universe.
many challenges, including hostile Native American tribes and harsh weather conditions.
I gotta say, I'm with the tribes.
Yeah. Native. They're the Native
Yeah.
Americans.
Just a bunch of guys show up. Nice place, man. This is mine now.
So despite these challenges, Raleigh remained committed to the establishment of a permanent English colony in the New World. He's like, fuck it, dude. It's going to be hard, but this is what we came here for. He also played a key role in securing supplies and resources for the colony once they'd got there. Of course, they took enough for the trip over and an initial, okay, we get here, we survive. But once you get there, you got to hunt. You got to forage. Like, you're starting a new world. You can't take enough supplies to last 120 people X amount of time. Plus, you spent 3 months crossing the ocean.
You got 3 fucking boats. You could, but whatever. That's fine.
Well, I mean, these boats are not. These boats are not so large that, I mean, when there's 150 people, I mean that there was like
probably more when they got there, because
there's about 50 person
for a year
on
and a half.
150 people on each boat, and now it's like maxed out. So like supplies were on there as well, but these boats like didn't basically.
See, that's such a good idea. In my head, I was like, they got a whole boat for like rum, and they got a whole boat for like limes so they don't get scurvy, and then they got a whole boat for people.
Yeah.
And like that's what they're bringing. And if one of those boats goes down, they're boned. But you're
spread out.
Yeah, spread it out
Spread it
makes
out.
more sense. Everybody gets to bring a little something.
So, like I said before, the expedition did include women and children with the intention of establishing a more permanent and sustainable. Nope, I skipped over a part here. Sorry. After they started, after everything went well, and basically like they said, wait X amount of time. If we haven't sent a ship back to say, shit's going wrong, send the second fleet.
They did. The ship that went back just got lost.
They're like, oh, fuck. So they send a second fleet. They authorized a second expedition to Roanoke Island, which was led by John White. The classic. The expedition included women and children with the intention of establishing a more permanent and sustainable settlement. Raleigh hoped that this new colony would serve as a base for further English expansion and exploration of this new world. So they're feeling very good about it right now. They've got there, and despite challenges, they're communicating and working with the Native American tribes. They're getting supplies from them. They're trading supplies with them. They're learning things about how to use the soil here, how to grow the native crops, not just the seeds that they brought up. So they're actually, things are going well enough for them to, you know, say, yeah, fucking send the second fleet, dude. Let's
Bring
go.
in the boys.
Yeah, let's go. And bring in some children and some women, because this is going down. This is the new world, baby.
Yo, tell them about tobacco. It's dope.
So the settlers were sent to Roanoke Island, now known as North Carolina, with the intention of finding gold, silver, and other valuable resources. That's
Roanoke Island?
Yeah.
Did they not walk to the other side?
Well, the place that they live
I mean, they also
during
used
the
to think
time.
the world was flat. So.
Yeah. And during this time, they actually do live on an island off the coast.
It's really a misnomer. It's more of a peninsula.
The settlers relied heavily on the local Native American tribes for food, and initially the relationship between the two groups was cordial. The tribes, including the Croatoan, helped the settlers by providing them with food and teaching them how to grow crops in the local soil. However, tensions began to rise as the settlers began to establish permanent settlements on the island. So basically, they were like, "Oh, you're staying?" Like, they were cool until they realized, like, holy fuck, there's like more of you guys showing up here. You weren't just like passing by and then rolling out.
It's
you
like
know?
when you feed a stray cat and then you go outside the next day and there's like 11 stray cats.
That's basically the best possible comparison you can make, because that's like exactly how the
except
Native
all
American
these stray
tribes in
cats
the
hate
area
you
felt.
except all these stray cats hate you and want to eliminate you and your culture.
Yeah.
And their diseases are zoologic, so like you're getting ill.
So, yes, the Native Americans became increasingly wary of the English colonizers, as they should, as they began to encroach on their lands and resources. The colonizers also began to impose their own customs and beliefs on the Native American tribes, telling them that their beliefs and customs were wrong, and that the ones that they had to teach them were the true way.
Have you ever heard of God? No, why? He created all this, dude.
Catholics, am I right?
I was just gonna say, this sounds like the people who show up at my door on like a Sunday at like 1:00, and they look like they just
literally still doing it.
Yeah. So one of the most notable incidents that led to the breakdown of relations.
I'm sorry. I just feel like that this would be the best way to stop that from happening.
What's that?
When they come up to your house and they're like, "Oh, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?"
I just say, no, absolutely not.
You can say, "No, you remember all the religious fanatics that disappeared in Roanoke?
You're next.
Guess what you have in common with them?"
You point. Oh no, never mind. I won't say that. In case it's a question, I don't want to.
You don't want to be too threatening. So, one of the most notable incidents that led to the breakdown of relations between the settlers and the Native Americans was the murder of Native American chief Wingina. Yep, get the giggles out. See how I paused there for it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not me.
We can call him Wingina if you want, but as far as what I found on howtopronounce.com, it's Wingina. Question number 3. Who led the group that murdered Wingina? Was it A, Captain John White, B, Captain Ralph Lane, C, Sir Walter Raleigh, or D, Captain Joseph Smith? John White, Ralph Lane, Walter Raleigh, or Joseph Smith?
Were they all captains?
Walter Raleigh was not.
He was a sir.
He was a sir. 3 captains and a sir.
Which I don't know if that makes him higher or lower ranking, because Paul McCartney's a sir.
I think he's lower. Because it's kind of like.
But
that's more like honorary, right? Like,
but
being
he led,
knighted
similar
is.
to
he
like
led
a
the
knighting,
expedition.
I think.
Don't you become? Isn't that a knighting? Like, you become a sir when you're knighted?
Does that? But has our standards for knighting changed? Because Paul McCartney and Elton John are knights.
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm saying. I believe it's more of an honorary.
Yeah,
thing.
and like
I don't know about in 15.
Magneto and like I don't know about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Give me the names. One
Captain
more
John
time.
White, Captain Ralph Lane, Sir Walter Raleigh, or Captain Joseph Smith.
I don't believe in my answer, but it is what it is. I'm writing in pen.
As long as it's with your gut.
Eddie, you got yours written down?
Yep.
All right, what do you guys got?
All right. I'm saying Ralphie, dude.
Ralphie.
John White.
In 1586, a group of English soldiers, led by Captain Ralph Lane, killed when China in retaliation for an attack on an English expedition. Grace takes the lead, 500 to 250.
Ralph. He sounds evil, man.
Ralph.
This is just so you're aware, Eddie. This is the turn. So there's two questions left on the back half here.
You need to get them both right to take a lead. You need to get at least one to tie it up. All right. So in 1586, a group of English soldiers led by Captain Ralph Lane killed Wingina in retaliation for an attack on an English expedition. This incident sparked a period of violence and conflict between the settlers and the tribes. Captain Ralph Lane was an English explorer and military commander. He was born in Devon in 1530 and was a member of the prominent family of the region. So, again, just all important people. These are all just very...
He sounds like a rich kid.
He was
I was about to say. That's why his name is Ralph, dude.
Yep. He was appointed by Sir Walter to lead the second English expedition to the New World in 1585, which established the first English colony in the New World of Roanoke Island. Lane was tasked with overseeing the establishment of the colony and was appointed as its governor. So, during this time in Roanoke, Lane had a difficult relationship with the local Native American tribes, who he viewed as hostile and untrustworthy. He basically, when he got there, by the time he got there at the second expedition, there had never been good relationships with the Native Americans. Communication had already broken down by that point. And so he got there and basically, he's like, my suspicions were true. They're untrustworthy and vicious creatures they are. So, it's fucking so crazy to me.
Literally had no fucking chance.
Exactly. He led several military expeditions against the tribes, and tensions between the colonists and the natives continued to escalate under his control. Despite his efforts to establish a successful colony, Lane's tenure as governor was cut short due to a lack of supplies and support from England. In 1586, Lane and his men returned to England with Sir Francis Drake, who had arrived in Roanoke to provide assistance but was unable to save the struggling colony. Francis Drake was he's like Mr. Wolf. He showed up and just fixed shit. You know what I mean? He got there and was like, nah.
Who's Mr. Wolf?
He's like,
Pulp Fiction, Harvey Keitel's, they call him.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
I'm 35. I'm 35 minutes away. I'll be there in 25 minutes. Sorry. After returning to England, Lane continued to serve as a military commander and was involved in several military campaigns in Europe. He also published an account of his experience in Roanoke titled A Disclosure of the First Colony in Virginia, which provided valuable insights into the early years of English colonization of the New World. So it's a very important book for firsthand insight into colonization of the New World.
I like that it's just he wrote a tell-all book. He was like, you guys want to hear some gossip?
This is his like Harry and Meghan confessional.
I'll spill the fucking tea about Roanoke. So, by this time, it's like fully broken down. The Captain Ralph Lane is remembered as an important figure in the early history of English colonization, but his efforts fell short to create a successful colony in Roanoke Island. It did help pave the way for future English settlements, however, in North Carolina. The colonizers at this time are completely outnumbered and outgunned by Native Americans. The Native Americans are now fully untrusting of any English colonizers.
It's just too bad that the colonizers didn't learn their lesson and turn tail and go home.
Yeah. We'd all have a much cooler accent right now.
Reasonable people.
Right. Like, maybe we can share.
Yeah. Maybe just don't be a dick. I don't know.
We might still have buffalo. Yes.
Have you seen that picture?
Yeah, the skulls.
Yeah.
Yep. So some of the settlers were killed in skirmishes with the Native Americans, while others were captured and taken as prisoners. So at this point, it's basically on site.
Skirmish makes it sound fun. It probably wasn't, but
sure.
But it sounds like they got in a dust up. Like it was maybe a bar fight.
Just a couple pals goofing around.
Yeah, they were just wrestling in the front yard, and one took it a little too serious. Like, no, dude, they were straight up hunted these people.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's how it was. Is it was on site. Like, if
I know a guy like that.
The Native Americans were, much better at using the land. There were more of them.
I was about to say it's kind of like a guerrilla warfare situation.
Yes, 100%.
Familiar, obviously, and like.
Do you ever I don't know how many westerns you guys have watched in your life that involve Native Americans, but they always fucking include something where like the cowboys are walking down in a valley or a gulch, and up on the the peak are the Native Americans pointing down. That it has a lot of basis in fact, because that was like a rule of a lot of Native American tribes on the East Coast, was that like the battle is from the top down. Like that is
yeah, so like I'm from Appalachia, right? So like I'm from those mountains, and yeah, it makes a hell of a lot more sense to be at a vantage point versus not at a vantage point.
And I guess walking through the valleys, let me get you there a little faster, but let me get you fucking rained down with arrows that block out the sun.
I was gonna say, are they all of a sudden they're Spartans?
That blot out the sun, dude.
Well, if they have to be, Greg, that's exactly what they'll be. So
wait, hold on. Who wins?
Who do you think wins?
300 Spartans or 300 natives?
Where are they?
On native territory.
On native territory? Spartans were pretty fucking bad, dude.
Have you read Gates of Fire, dude? Because, oh my god.
Have you seen the new Predator movie?
That's kind of true, too. So, okay. Clearly, there are a lot of things, man. The settlers are facing challenges with climate and geography of the New World. The winters are harsh. Many of the settlers are not prepared for how cold the weather was. They suffered from exposure and disease, and many of them fell ill and died. In addition, the island was vulnerable to hurricanes and severe weather events.
These fucking guys came over from England, too, so they're probably just standing there in fucking balls deep snow going, oh, it's a bit cold here, isn't it?
It's a bit chilly, isn't it?
So the settlers were not able to build strong enough structures to withstand the storms that took place on the island that they lived on, and they suffered heavy losses as a result each time a storm took place. Basically, rebuild, storm happens, fall down, rebuild, storm happens, fall down, rebuild. It's a vicious cycle.
Sounds like a Family Guy skit.
Yeah, exactly. And the fort just falls in one frame. Despite these challenges, the settlers attempted to establish a permanent settlement on Roanoke Island. Like, we talk about, like, with the natives, like, and they should have just learned. They're like, nah, fuck these hurricanes. We'll get good at this eventually.
So, are the natives on the island, or are the natives on the mainland?
The island is not far from the mainland, but it's not like you don't just walk right over.
Right. I mean, I would imagine you took boats and stuff like that. But if, like... The first clue that maybe living on the island is not a good idea is when everybody who lives in the area is on the mainland.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're like, why are they living on the hurricane break?
They're just like throwing tents on a sandbar. Like, it's not even...
Yeah, exactly.
Why are they doing that? That's not that smart.
The settlers are like, I think they're saying tide? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Let's see. It's going bad, but they're pushing on. And basically at this time, efforts are going to be cut short when John White is forced to return to England to secure more supplies for the colony. They're supposed to be delivered, and it's clear to him that they're not going to be. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going back. It's 6 months total, maybe a month to resupply. So I'll be back in 7 months or whatever it is. I mean, that's crazy to think about, I know, but...
No, I just picture it like that scene in Community when Troy leaves to go get the pizza and he comes back and the whole apartment's on fire and everybody's fighting.
Basically what's going to happen.
That's what's happening in my head when you're reading.
So, really quickly on John White, he was an English artist and explorer who lived, again, during the 16th century. He was born in London in 1540 and trained as an artist specializing in watercolors and cartography. So he was the map maker of the group.
Like Buster Bluth?
Yep, that's it. He was also an experienced sailor and navigator. And while in Roanoke, White focused on mapping and documenting the area, as well as studying and recording the culture and customs of the local Native American tribes.
So he's an anthropologist.
Yep. Modern day, baby. He produced several important maps and sketches of the region, including a famous watercolor of a Carolina Algonquin village. When he left, he was leaving behind his daughter and granddaughter, who was born during the expedition. So he brought his daughter over. She had a child, like one of the first children of the New World, and he leaves them behind in order to head back and get supplies. So he's got good reason to go back.
Right.
His daughter and new granddaughter are being left behind. So He left behind instructions for the settlers to leave a sign if they needed to relocate the settlement, and left in August of 1587. So basically, like, yo, I'm gonna come back. Tell me where you went when I get back.
If you guys
happen to
leave,
move.
leave a note.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You
yeah,
always
we're
leave a
totally
note.
gonna leave a note. And good, he's gone. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. So
Tell him we went north.
he left behind instructions to tell him, if they moved, and left in August of 1587. However, due to many issues, his return would be delayed. The trip was initially to take approximately 7 months in total. Question number 4. How long would his return be delayed? Would it be delayed for A, 6 months, which would make it 1 year and 1 month total? Would it be delayed for B, 10 months, a 1 year, 11-month total round trip? C, 16 months, a 2-year, 5-month total round trip, or 23 months for an even 3-year total? 6 months, 10 months, 16 months, or 23 months? How long was the delay?
Got your answers?
I got it.
All right.
Eddie, you good?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, what do you guys say?
All right. I said B, so a year and what was it?
11 months?
in
Yep.
total?
23 months. So 3-year total.
3-year total. Eddie says 3-year total. Grace says 1 year, 11-month total. Eddie's going to pick up 250 points because, yes, the round trip journey did indeed take 3 total years due to complications when he arrived in England. Several reasons why it took John White so long to get back to Roanoke. Tie game, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
one
all
question to
knotted
go.
up
Knotted up at 500.
I'm sweating.
If you guys happen to, for some reason, both get that one correct, which now that I'm looking at it, I wish that it hadn't been the 5th question. So we might have some type of tiebreaker that needs to take place. But there were several reasons why it took John White so long to get back to Roanoke. First, he encountered several delays while in England. He was originally supposed to return to Roanoke in the spring of 1588, but his departure was delayed due to the outbreak of war between England and Spain. This conflict, we know as the Spanish Armada, disrupted trade and travel between England and the New World.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
In addition, White had trouble securing the necessary supplies and resources for the colony. He had to contend with limited resources and a lack of funding from the English government. Like, it's wartime.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm trying to, we got this colony over here across the ocean. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about it. We're trying to kill these damn Spaniards. So he also had difficulty recruiting new settlers to join the colony with him. What? Hey, we've got this failing colony. I need you to go back with me. He encountered several storms and rough seas once his journey began. So on his way back to the New World, it was slowed down a lot more than he thought. It made it difficult for him to reach Roanoke Island. And upon his return 3 years later, in August of 1590, he found no sign of the colony. Question number 5.
I think I know this one, bro.
A word was carved into a post where the fort once stood. What word was carved? Okay, this is multiple choice, though, and I've got to leave it that way, so we'll have to do a tie one. She seems to already be writing it down. Was it A, Hatteras, B, Raleigh, C, Danger, or D, Croatoan?
I feel like even I know that one.
I think I've heard it somewhere before.
Not all of the questions I write are home runs, I didn't know it would be a tie when we got here.
Just wish we didn't end the game on a bunt. That's all.
Sometimes it just takes some small ball.
I was going to say a walk-off ball.
All right. Grace seemed to know. Hold it up, guys. Show me what you got.
You can't read that because I write weird.
Grace said Croatian.
Yeah, I put D.
Both of you said Croatoan. Both of you are correct. That is probably the most famous fact about this case, is that the word left behind was Croatoan. Here's what we're going to do. Let me see if I've got another cool date or something in here.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's a tie, and
I know.
this hasn't happened to us yet.
We can do an artistic challenge and have them snap a picture of it and message it on Instagram or something.
Message it right here in Discord. That's true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's do that, guys. I'll finish up the story while you guys. Well, why don't you show me what the Dorcas, the Elizabeth, and the Lion looked like the day they arrived?
Ooh, I was gonna say, how about the inspiration for the Dorcas?
Ooh, I like that too. All right. Interpret it how you will. Art will go the way it goes. Give me something for the inspiration for the Dorcas, Elizabeth, and the Lion. How about that? Give me all three of them arriving as not ships.
Yeah.
Like as people.
Give me or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever the Dorcas, the Elizabeth, and the Lion means to you. Give me the three of them arriving as not ships.
Good.
Oh,
Good
no.
one.
Yeah.
Yikes.
You guys we'll give you I'd say you got probably 3 or 4 minutes here. Remember, it's not about the best drawing. It's about pandering to your judge. So once you're done, if you could snap a photo on your phone and just throw it in the chat in the Discord here so we could have the most clear picture of it possible. And then we're going to judge the hell out of you. And this is great. We had a tie. Hell yeah. Okay. So the only clue left behind again, yeah, guys, was the word Croatoan. What a stupid question, Jesse, you stupid idiot. This led many to believe that settlers had been taken captive by the local Native American tribe, the Croatoan. The Croatoan were a coastal tribe who spoke Algonquin. They lived in small villages along the coast and inland waterways and were skilled fishermen and hunters, and they relied heavily on the bounty of the sea and the forest for their lives. Basically, they're badass. Like, they know the land better than anybody. And they're the reasons a lot of the settlers even lasted as long as they did initially. The Croatoan also had a strong tradition. Hey, stick figures have won. Don't even worry. Just have fun with it. The Croatoan also had a strong tradition of trade, of trade and commerce with neighboring tribes, which allowed them to acquire goods and resources that were not available in their own region. So, this is a solid tribe who knows the forest well enough to hunt very fruitfully from it, knows the sea well enough to fish very fruitfully from it, has set up trade connections with other Native American tribes so they can get things that they can't hunt for, fish for, or grow. I mean, we're talking like a fairly, perhaps not technologically advanced society, but like culturally, to me, that's like a fairly advanced society. We're not talking about savages. We're talking about...
Whoa.
Wait. What was the name of the ships again?
Careful. It's Dorcas, Elizabeth, and Lion.
Dorcas.
Dorcas.
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
Okay, so although popular, the Croatoan also had strong tradition of trade and commerce, neighboring tribes, and allowed them to acquire goods and resources that were not available in their region. Okay. Although popular to blame the disappearance on the tribe, no conclusive evidence has ever been found to support this theory. Despite numerous attempts to find the lost colonists, including several expeditions led by John White himself, because remember, he lost a daughter and a granddaughter. He's like, where the fuck? I want them back. I
think that this whole thing, like when they wrote Croatoan in the thing or whatever, like they were trying to write Croatoan saved us, but like it just got
who knows? And I'll
misinterpreted.
I'll take your guys' beliefs on what this could mean. Let's see. Some historians speculate that settlers may have been assimilated into nearby Native American tribes, so less like taken by them and more like taken in by them. One theory suggests that the settlers may have attempted to relocate the settlement to another island or mainland, but they were lost at sea or were unable to establish a successful colony. Because remember, a lot of the people that were left behind weren't sailors. They weren't.
Right.
Those people went back to grab supplies, figuring these people would be safe just chilling here.
Yeah, we got everything steady. Just keep it.
Yes, exactly.
Hold the flashlight right here.
Hey, I don't know how bad yours is, but this is...
Oh, it's absolutely terrible.
Another theory proposes that the settlers may have been attacked by Spanish forces, as the Spanish were in the area at the time, and may have seen the English colonizers as a threat to their own interests. So... it may not even have been Native American tribes. Whether it might have been the Spanish, who was like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
The English?
Fuck that!
Yeah, get them out of here." Some historians speculate that settlers may have been already read that. Another theory proposed that the settlers may have been attacked by the Spanish. Read that too. Despite extensive research and excavation of the site, no definitive answers have ever been found, leaving the fate of the Roanoke colony as one of the greatest mysteries in early American history. One of the major challenges that settlers faced, again, was the lack of food. The island's soil was poor for agriculture, and the settlers were not able to establish. Problems with the Native American tribes, shortage of supplies, possible Spanish invasion. The story of Roanoke Colony is a reminder of the challenges that early colonizers faced, and they attempted to establish new communities in unfamiliar lands. It is also a testament to the resilience and perseverance of those who dared to venture into the unknown, even in the face of adversity and uncertainty. That is it for the Roanoke Colony. Hello?
Right, can you hear us?
All right, I'm sure you guys saw us laughing hysterically.
Pissing yourselves, yeah.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard the muscles that go around to the back of my head hurt.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I have like a sore jaw from laughter. They both brought us great joy.
Absolute bangers.
One of them was decided unanimously between the two of us to be the winner. And moving on, congratulations. We'll tell you after this commercial break and from our sponsors, Ford. Grace is going to move on to the next round. Congratulations, you guys. That was I did not think there was going to be a tie, honestly, going into any of these. So we did not prepare for it much at all.
Eddie, the Dorcas was so perfect.
It was good.
It was so perfect, and the lion was perfect, and it was all top notch.
We appreciate
tough
it both
decision.
that was a tough decision.
It
was a tough decision. So thank you guys both very much for being here. We appreciate you guys a lot. I laughed a lot.
This was perfect.
Not that the other ones weren't fun, but I got a little ab workout from.
We'll put those on like Instagram or something when it.
For sure.
Yeah, when the episode comes out.
Even if it's just us going like this.
Yeah.
I like the ones of you leaned over his phone giggling like a schoolgirl. I want that one.
Or I like the both of us.
Oh yeah, Eddie's came in sideways, so we had to.
Looking at mine 'cause it's sideways.
Okay, so Grace, can I see? Let's see. Grace will come in at what time does it say?
3.
Okay, so 5 o'clock for your next round.
Alrighty.
All right. Congratulations on your dub. Anything you want to say on the way out?
I'll see you guys in like 2 hours.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Eddie, anything you'd like to end on? I'm sorry it had to be that way. I truly am, but that was it was so fun.
I will say, I do feel proud that I've dethroned Eddie first shot.
That was,
it does feel good.
I don't know if it was dethroning. I think he's 0-2 now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just spilling drinks like a motherfucker today.
No, that was
A for effort in my books.
Yeah, you put up a hell of a fight. It went down to judge's decision. It wasn't a knockout. So.
And you answered the last 2 questions correctly to make it a tie too. So you it was a brawl. It'll be tough to say that there was a better first round matchup than that. Great job, guys. Great job. Okay, Eddie, get those final words in. What do you want to say, buddy?
Panicked. Find me in Discord. All I know is that Dorcas drawing that I made is your new contact picture. So
Yes.
Better than the antique store picture I sent you that one time?
Oh, you know what? No, I do still have the antique picture, actually.
I now want to see the antique picture thing.
You got to talk
me
to Eddie.
hanging out in an antique store, just looking good as hell, as usual. In this episode, we talk again about fans who've become friends.
And friends who've become fans.
So we brought in Jaxx. She is very quickly become near and dear to our heart. Again, I say to you, join the Discord and become a friend of ours because we are a friend of yours.
Might just fuck around and wind up on the show.
Yeah, and the other thing is too is you guys, you do interact with us in social media and other places too. We want to know what you look like and sound like. It's not we're not so vain that we think that it should only be one way. So come watch a movie with us, come play some video games, come just hang out and share pictures of your dinner.
Interact directly with us.
Yeah, because look, like Greg said, fuck around and you might just end up on the show. And friends of ours like Jaxx, and thanks Jaxx for coming. Good luck. Also, this one I would say is one of the few who, and I'm not saying she's not a fan of the show, who she did not become our friend and discover us through the show.
We met through streaming.
Yeah, exactly. Kristen and I met through streaming and tacos. I remember the conversation specifically. I was streaming Red Dead. She joined up.
Was he crushing tacos?
No, we started talking about tacos. And this is during the pandemic. Yeah. And we it was like before it said first time commenter back in the day, but she was like, "Hey, I love tacos." And I was like, "Duh." And then we literally like became best friends through that night. Yeah, and that was pretty much how it went. So Kristen was somebody who we met through streaming. She became a really good friend, and then she became a good supporter of the show as well. And she came in to compete in this motherfucker. She was after Grace. I sent out, I think, pretty much the messages back to back in mass.
Yeah.
And Kristen was the first one to message back because I said, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And she said, "The answer is yes." You already knew it was. Like she's just always down and always so helpful. So thank you, Kristen, for being a friend and then coming and supporting the show and then coming and being on the show. And she was also on the show in a full episode. She was also on
a lost episode.
On a lost episode. She was also on our very short-lived Simpsons streaming show.
Yeah.
So Kristen's always been down, always been around. We appreciate that. So thank you, Jaxx. Thank you, Kristen. And that is this episode, or I guess this piece of this
episode.
To call them episodes, right?
Yeah.
That is this round of this tournament is Kristen versus Jaxx.
Okay. Cool. Welcome to the Serial Chillers podcast. I forget, like, I this is so weird doing it in little bursts like this. I'm never sure how we're gonna start it, so some of this might get cut. Yeah, exactly. Guests, welcome, Kristen, Jaxx. Thank you both for being here. This is awesome. This is we said it earlier, round 1. This is the last matchup of round 1 of the tournament. Winner of this is going to go on to face the winner of Eddie and Grace, which was Grace. So
and it's cool now that we're in the final round. We've got to see everybody today too. So we got to see 8 of our friends. Yeah, and we've got to like visit with them, and that's been like a cool part of the day too.
Yeah,
so.
we've been at this for 4 straight hours so far. So
yeah. Wow. 3 to go, baby.
Yep, I was gonna say we're halfway done. But this has been a good time. I've been enjoying it, and now you get to sit through one of my episodes.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. So, by the way, do you guys have anything you want to shout out before we get rolling? I'll give you a chance at the end too, but Instagram.
Excited to be here. I don't have anything on Instagram.
I'll do this for Kristen. You guys go to Twitch, follow Kristen on Twitch at It's Kristen A. She's a wonderful streamer. Lots of retro, some FMV, some just chatting, some music. She's got it all. Super fun follow. Go do it. And who can beat the charm of a Canadian streamer, right?
Bam. That is probably the kindest thing I've ever heard Jesse say.
So what I'll go ahead and do is send you over that audio, and you can just play that at the beginning of every one of your streams from now on. Hype you and the audience.
It's like getting a quote on the cover of a book jacket. Like,
please do.
That one's free. The next one's 20,000.
Did you see the one author who sent his book to like I forget some famous author? And when he sent him a letter, was like, "Hey, can I get a blurb for my book cover?" He was like, "I lost the book," and he was
put that on there.
He put that on the book, and I was like, "That's genius."
It's fantastic.
All right, so we are gonna do the Denver International Airport today. That's gonna be the conspiracy theory that I bring your direction. So, are you guys familiar with that at all? No?
Come on, Kristen. It's in America.
Right? Yeah, it's an airport. It's an airport.
Okay, cool.
In Denver?
In Denver.
It's not one of those airports where they name it Denver, but it's actually like in Colorado, like somewhere else.
No, I mean it is in Denver, Colorado. It was built to replace an airport that was already there, and as the population of Denver grew, they built this massive, bloated budget airport in Denver, just outside Denver. Question number 1. In what year was Denver International Airport built? Closest to the answer gets 250. If you nail the year, it's 500. If you want to take a stab at the full date, because I am a generous God, I'll give you 1,000 points. If you get the full date. And let me know when you got it.
Because he
I got
is a
mine.
generous
Held it up.
God.
1972 from Kristen.
Sorry, I was used to the last time.
1964.
Jaxx said
I'm
1964. Kristen is going to get 250 points. It was built February 28th, 1995 was the day that it finished and opened.
We're way out, but yes, let's go.
In Denver, Colorado, 1995, DIA opens for the first time amid a whole bunch of controversy. The opening was delayed almost 2 years, and the project came in nearly $2 billion over budget. That's billion with
that
a
was
B.
billion.
Like, I mean, I get it if you're like, yo, our budget was $300 million, and we were at like 3.2. You know,
Yeah.
I get that.
It's 1.6, and we spent 3.6 billion.
Yeah. The original budget was $2 billion, and when it was all said and done, the final project had a price tag of $3.9 billion. So they almost doubled their budget, and like I even have it in right here. Like it was like at one point was somebody just like, hey, we fucking doubled our budget, and we're not entirely sure how. Like, what do we do? Just keep building, dude. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, I don't know. The planes are going to be here soon.
Point of no return, right?
Oh, man.
No return. You get to a certain point, you're like, we have to finish it now. We have to.
They said the project was delayed so long because there were massive construction issues, like construction delays. Like they were like, there's stuff going on and we can't really fix it. There were also problems with the futuristic setup that they'd wanted to use. They had an automated baggage handler, which is... I'll talk about that in a second, but doing all this like futuristic shit that they wanted and making this giant airport the thing that they wanted. It was supposed to open in 93, again, got pushed back to 94, and eventually...
So it was fucking a year late and $2 billion over budget.
It was like a year and a half late and double the budget.
What a fucking kick in the knockers.
Right, imagine...
And no one's getting a bonus there, right? Nobody. Like it's like
no, you're wrong.
Yeah,
This
I
is
was gonna
America,
say-
Kristen. Everybody got bonuses.
Yeah, everybody got bonuses and got investments in the stock options for the contracting companies for this, and
sounds right.
so
America.
So the automated bagging system that they had in DIA, there are miles of underground tunnels.
It's huge.
Huge. These tunnels connect the terminals and runways to other terminals and other runways, and they're all concrete walled, like exposed stone tunnels.
If you're a megalophobic, this is not the place to hang out.
Yeah, they're literally like 25 or 30 foot tall ceilings that are like smooth concrete and just miles underground. Guys are buzzing around on those little electric trucks and
The
shit.
ones that Austin Powers got stuck?
Kinda, yeah, exactly.
I was about to say Austin Powers. Like
Exactly.
That was
That's
I mean,
almost exactly that. Yes.
Like you
Yes.
could turn it around.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They're big enough you can turn around. Yeah. So when you get off your plane, your luggage was to be offloaded automatically and put on one of these little carts, and it would buzz down into the tunnels, and then it was loaded on a system of conveyor belts to go to your next plane or to the baggage claim area or whatever.
This sounds like if you told me that it was happening like this summer at DIA, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a pretty cool thing they're implementing. If you had told me this is happening in 1995, I'd be
And
like,
it was
fuck off with your fucking future stuff.
Initially,
There's
like
no way it could do that.
Construction began in like what 91.
Yeah.
So this was 32 years.
They saw
ago.
Jurassic Park and were like, whoa, we could do some stuff here, dude.
They were so busy asking whether
That
or
came
not
out
they
in
could,
90 yeah.
they never stopped to ask whether or not they should.
Well, there it is.
So these like conveyor belts, these things have to go like miles. So these things are fucking booking. It is such a high speed. It is comical.
Really fast, right?
Which airport worker was like, all right, dude, you ready?
Yeah, let me
get your feet going fast, right when you get on, man.
Dude, it's going so fast. It is comical how fast it is going. Like
just rip all your skin off.
Dude, it would be so brutal.
Just get to the end bones and muscle.
And their legit plan, and this is no bullshit, was to have like the luggage compartment of the plane open and like waiting, and there was just a little, like, the conveyor belts ended in a little ramp, and your luggage went thump and into the plane. And they were like, this is how far the luggage is going to go. Yeah.
You're like, wait, but my cats are stowed under there.
Yeah, like, you got to start checking.
Your cat gets to do 185 miles an hour on a conveyor belt?
Dude, it's so, like, that's...
Where do you guys think the cat is right now? You just hear...
And when you see the videos of the bags getting like, because they have to like snake around each other, so they're like bam, 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 bam.
Oh my god,
dude! Yeah, it's.
You're like, I had a soda in there.
When they tested it, like the first like luggage that they fired off just missed completely, hit the tarmac and exploded, with like leaving everything everywhere. It was. So
my unmentionables.
So DIA has a footprint larger than the city of Manhattan by almost twice the size.
Wow.
There's a lot of conveyor belts moving at a very high speed past one another and making very sharp turns. A lot of luggage was lost off the belts and went missing.
No way.
They didn't have walls on the conveyor belts.
God.
So
they're like, what did you want us to be? 3 million over budget?
Keep it on the belt.
They had.
I was like, there's nothing here.
It's like a beginner's Mario Kart course. There's walls in the corners, and that's it.
It's like Rainbow Road.
Yeah, so you go into the corner at high speed and you go bam into the wall, and then you ricochet off and you fall off. And sometimes you fall off and you land on this other conveyor belt going the other way, and sometimes you're just lost in the little series of tunnels.
That is so dumb.
And so
I'm not a smart man, but I do understand that is a terrible idea.
Miles of tunnel.
Is anyone picturing this like in those Looney Tunes where they show like City of the Future?
And you can hear dun 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 dun. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Sorry, we had to finish.
So yeah, it was stuff would get lost. It would fall down between the conveyor belts, and then because they were like elevated at different heights, so that you could.
It's basically like getting on the American highway system, and cars don't have steering wheels here. You just hit the corner really fast, and it ricochets you over.
Yeah, you just go. You go forward, and that's it.
You're like, yeah, but what if I fall off the overpass? You're like,
then you fall off the overpass. Yeah. That sounds like a you problem. Why are you bothering me?
You want to drive or not, pussy?
It's like it's. So
man, drive with danger.
A lot of the luggage again lost off the belts, completely went missing. Not even like we'll let you know when we find it.
Somebody has a suitcase full of Beanie Babies just sitting at the bottom of those.
Just
conveyor
gone.
It could be the one worth money.
Eventually, they abandoned the luggage system. So they paid this crazy amount of money and installed it and used it, and then gave up on it. Furthermore, airlines were required to use it, regardless of whether or not they had their own baggage handler. So some airlines would employ people at all their hubs to change bags over for connecting flights and take care of all that. And they'd get to Denver and they'd be like, no, you got to put it on the thing. And they're like, we don't want it. We got to take it to that plane right there. And they're like, put it on the fucking thing. And they'd put it on the thing and it would go under like 4 miles of fucking.
I could have walked it there in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it would just go under 4 miles of underground fucking conveyor belts at like 70 miles an hour and then get catapulted out the other side towards the plane. And they were like, thanks, Denver. And that was it. But the guys were like, okay, fuck, whatever. That's what we got to do. During the building the tunnels and the conveyor system, the tracks, the staff, the man hours, all that had to have been pretty expensive. For well over a decade, they tried to use it. And the cost went from just below 200 million to over 600 million for just the baggage system. And it still wasn't right. And then
they abandoned it.
In 2005, they gave up on it. So they used it for fucking 10.
That's a long time to try.
They used it for fucking 10 years.
I'm curious about like the percentage of lost bags in that 10-year period.
Had to have been just unreal.
You had like a 1 in 11 chance of not getting your bag back when you went through DIA.
For 10 years, they were throwing shit all over Hell-and-Gone and letting aliens from the Dulce base just rummage through your lost luggage.
Dude, I was literally going to say, you know that they just used like underground alien slavery to build those, right?
They were like, I think it's super cool that they spent that much money on a system that they couldn't even update because they were like, they didn't even like make it a better system.
You know the guy whose idea it was to go back to cartoons, like it failed, and he was going.
Yeah, lets out a little steam when he pulls his collar. It's not like that money could have gone someplace else. It had to have been spent on the baggage system that doesn't work. Now, let's say your luggage actually makes it to the baggage carousel. Okay, you're like
it's going 310 miles an hour.
Yeah, it slows down when it gets there. By some sheer force of will, it makes it to the thing.
Divine grace has stepped in on you and been like, you can have your luggage back.
Yeah, it's been stressful. And you're standing there, you're thinking, is that mine? No. Is that mine? So naturally, DIA is like, hey, we need to make the baggage claim area the most relaxing thing possible. Soft lights, dim music, open bar, smoking section? No. Free massages while you wait? No. Someone to grab the luggage for you so you don't have to stress about it? No. Question number 2. What was installed in the baggage claim area? Was it A, a children's play area? B, an entirely too loud sound system? C, gargoyles? Or D, religious statues?
Gargoyles like actual gargoyles?
No,
like
the 90s
the Fox
cartoon.
animated 90s television show?
I want it to be the 90s, but I'm talking about actual
fair.
like stone
gargoyles.
gargoyles. Yeah.
All right.
Got your
our answers now?
Got your answers?
Are we ready?
Let's see them.
Let's go.
We've got D,
area?
religious statues.
Was that A, the children's play area?
Yeah.
That's the A.
Okay, so we got children's play area and religious statues. The actual answer is gargoyles.
You guys told me to go with my gut, and I double thought it because of where it was. I'm like, we're in Colorado. I'm going.
Gargoyles sound too cool. Like I would enjoy that. Not
right.
Yeah, no, right? I'd be like, I really like gargoyles. When I was every time I'm in England, I'm like gargoyle spotting, literally. And people will point them out to me. There's one. I'm like, yes, pictures.
They're fucking cool looking. Well, then now if you go to Denver, there's a talking one.
Look for.
You hear that? A talking
it talks.
one.
Sorry, a talking one?
You're going to want to take a video of that one.
It welcomes you to DIA and all that. So
welcome. We are here to protect you.
According to mentalfloss.com, gargoyles were designed as waterspouts for cathedrals, but were designed in such a way that it was a visual representation for the parishioners who couldn't read about the demons that were being preached against.
Yes.
They were also used as decorations to draw in pagans who might have identified with seeing some of the demons. That was the last.
So they were like a trap?
Yeah, last
they were
one
like,
seems
come on in, demon lovers.
Yeah.
We'll be able to identify you.
The last one seems a little judgy to me, but hey, it's religion.
It's the whole basis of the idea.
And there's a lot of
judging.
I had a disclaimer in here. I chose not to read it, but they have I put a disclaimer in here because a lot of the stuff is like, oh, it's satanic. I mean, and they're talking about like the classic like cartoon bad Satan, not like the cool like love nature and everybody else until they piss you off Satan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
The Satan that we all dig, like the cool guy, not
Satan,
not Ned Flanders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like secret societies and stuff like that, and they have a lot of satanic undertones, and they get that it gets a whole bad rap, and they lump Satan in with that because it's scary to people who don't understand. Like while not completely satanic and with no obvious satanic ties other than being a symbol to exploit pagans, this just seems like a really fucking weird design choice to put a gargoyle in a talking gargoyle in a baggage claim.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Unless there's a church down below.
Go to Denver.
Welcome to Denver, human.
I was gonna say if there's
wait for bags and fly in a cylindrical tube with wings. I, a gargoyle, as you can see, have wings and flew here in my own fruition.
I mean, who knows? Maybe there's an underground church.
Preach.
Something to consider. If you're taking off and landing from Denver International and you look back out the window and you look at the airport from the sky, you're going to see a strange pattern of runways. According to Denver International, it's so you can have multiple planes departing and arriving at any given time, regardless of weather patterns. The configuration has drawn some ire from the public. Question number 3, what is the runway design at the Denver International Airport? Why is it a problem? Is it A, because it's a pentagram, B, because it's a swastika, C, because it's a cross? A cross from what? Or D, they're just under-maintained and generally pretty sketchy?
Trying to picture this in my mind and what would be good for planes.
Is it a pentagram, a swastika, a cross, or just under-maintained and generally pretty sketchy?
Is a crostica a thing?
You just got to superimpose it.
Is.
Don't try to draw it. Don't try to draw it. All right, they're ready.
You got your answers. We've got a pentagram and a cross. The answer is, well, the terminal sits in the middle with runways surrounding it, connected by smaller taxiways. They all point in 4 directions, which according to Denver International Airport looks like a pinwheel, but according to everyone else, it looks like a swastika. From the sky, Denver International Airport does have a pinwheel or swastika design.
Oh, so the gargoyle wasn't trying to get a high five.
Yeah. I do kind of feel like I buried the lead here a little bit too. In the World War II days, American companies did a lot of business with Germany, Ford, Standard Oil, American Steel, Coca-Cola.
I don't believe you.
It's the Mac strategy from It's Always Sunny. I'm playing both sides. That way I always come out on top. There's no risk for them. They can sell materials and, make money. Aside from it being a pretty uncool thing to do, they're also dealing with countries who are at war, which I'm pretty sure is illegal. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't deal with countries that we're at war with, but whatever. Companies like the Rockefellers, Morgans, Bushes, Kochs, and so on, who are termed the elite. These families have strong ties to worldwide power, wealth, and information and technology only because of who they are. It's kind of a really incestuous family of these really rich and elite people. And what's funny is that, like, I just named these families, and I'm sure their names you've heard before. Those aren't even like the richest and most powerful, because the richest and most powerful have enough power and wealth to stay out of the public eye, and you'll never even hear about them, which is really scary to me because we can find out how much money these guys have. So the elite, it's weird to see how tied in all this is, because the elite is rumored to have fallout shelters in the underground of Denver International Airport. Building your secret base under a giant swastika seems a little on the nose, but like...
Sort of like a bullseye, right?
Yeah.
That's where we bomb.
Yeah, you'd think, but I suppose the Freemasons like to mark their shit, and the Illuminati likes to put the all-seeing eye on currency, so...
Everybody's got to have their calling card, you know?
Yeah, and
the wet bandits turned the sink on and left.
No, we're the sticky bandits. But like, so I wondered why, because I see a lot of this stuff. I'm big into conspiracy theories, obviously.
What?
And so I do a lot of reading on shit like this, and I see stuff like, why do they have to put the logo out there? Why does Jay-Z take pictures like this?
It's the Rock.
If you were in the Illuminati, wouldn't you want to keep that secret? Why do you have to do this?
It's always the one where they're like, LeBron James is doing satanic imagery in his pregame warm-up routine. You're like, kind of looks like he's dancing a little bit.
Right. I believe we call that the Dougie. But like, you see stuff like that, and I wondered why they have to show you, and apparently it's because it's a form of consent. Because all this stuff that they do, all this power that they have, all these rituals that they perform, only work if you give your consent for them to happen. So they tell you without telling you. So the whole time they could be like, if you were really paying attention, you could have stopped us. You could have stopped us at any time, but you didn't. So it's pretty much like saying, go ahead. So like.
So instead you just get those TikToks. Go ahead, sorry.
Isn't that the basis for like so many like thriller like slasher thriller like spooky haunted movies? Like, if you were really paying attention, you would have seen the signs all over this house. You would have known we were cannibals. You would have known
the
that
second watch is gonna be so good.
It sounds a lot like victim blaming to me, but so it seems like the tip of the spear is this whole swastika, and the poison on the tip of the spear is the dedication plaque for the airport, because it was dedicated on March 19th, 1994. and it bears a compass and square centered around a G, or for those of you who are struggling to picture it, the Freemasons logo.
I was gonna say, wait.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Freemasons are Nazis. So like, I am not making that comparison.
It's just that maybe they're in cahoots with them to build this airport.
Freemasons are all about promoting their business,
and the gargoyles have something to do with it too.
Nazis need things built.
Nazi gargoyles, perhaps. I'm not sure yet.
I'm not saying they're one and the same. I'm just saying secret societies and whatever. For whatever reason, the Freemasons
close and your enemies closer.
Well, like there's just secret society stuff going on, and the Nazis had a lot of secret societies, and the Freemasons are a secret society as well as Skull and Bones, and
so secret we know about them now.
And the Freemasons, and for whatever reason, the Freemasons always bring the Illuminati to the party. So aside from it all being secret societies and somewhat occultish, they think thinking they know better than everyone and trying to control everyone. These ideologies don't have anything in common. They're just a strong use of symbols to reinforce an ideology that drives an agenda that they push. They grab a hold of things like numbers. Like in Freemasonry, you can be held as high as a 33rd degree Mason. It's their magic number. Hitler supporters latched on to 88 because 8th is the 8th number of the alphabet, and HH would stand for that shit that they yell when they do the arm thing that I'm not going to say or do while being recorded.
Really quickly, so in the early 2000s, there was a skateboard shoe company called 88. 88 Shoes. And legit people, I was a manager at a skate shop at the time, and people picketed outside our store because we sold 88 shoes.
I remember.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Didn't Jamie Thomas skate for him?
No, but there were some really good guys who skated for him, and it was the year that skateboarding kind of became like a thing. I don't remember all who was on it.
I just remember they had somebody who was a white guy with a shaved head on their roster, and I remember thinking, well,
a little on the nose, right?
Yeah, could have done better. Yeah. But yeah, is it possible that the Freemasons could have had a hand in establishing a fallout shelter for the global elite in a catastrophic event that seems to be on the horizon? Maybe.
Do they rob cavefish of their sight?
That's the stonecutters.
Perfect.
Close. Question number 4: who dedicated the plaque at the airport in 1994? Was it A, the New World Airport Commission, B, the Center for Globalized Politics, C, the Foundation for the Advancement of Children of Elites, or FACE, or D, straight up Illuminati with the pyramid, the seeing eye, and everything?
Every one of these sounds like the criminal organization in a late 90s video game. Like, we've got to go up against the FACE.
Yeah.
What were the first two again?
I'll run them all back. The New World Airport Commission, the Center for Globalized Politics, the Foundation for the Advancement of Children of the Elites, or FACE, or the straight up Illuminati with the pyramid, the eye, and everything.
When I was a kid, I used to play this Aerosmith video game where you fight the New World Order. It was like a point-and-click shooter.
Yeah.
And this totally, like, hearing New World Airport Commission just threw me back to thinking about being Steven Tyler and shooting at things.
Totally.
I'll find some gameplay of that and show you guys.
Kristen says Center for Globalized Politics. Jaxx says Foundation for the Advancement of Children of the Elites, or FACE. The answer is the New World Airport Commission.
Dang.
Which,
That's a thing?
well,
that sounds real fake. That's made up.
Let me get there, because I've heard it's all about how you put the emphasis on it. So remember, it's the New World Airport Commission, not the New World Airport Commission.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I get you.
There's a difference between helping your Uncle Jack off a horse and your Uncle Jack off a horse.
It's all about punctuation.
It's the new version of the World whatever
yes,
thing, right?
Yes, World Airport Organization.
It's the new one.
Really quickly, before we get too far, we're heading to a 5th question. Jaxx.
One of us needs to get it right.
Kristen's got 250 from the first one. It's 250 to nothing. Jaxx, you need to get the next one right to force a tie. Kristen, if you get it right, you're walking in victory.
No pressure.
Okay.
And
letting you know, no pressure. There's so much pressure.
If it ties up, we're going to an artistic challenge to break the tie.
We had a tie in the last round, and it went to artistic challenge. So nice. Remember, it's not about being good at drawing. It's about pandering to your judges.
In which case, it will be the two of us. We will deliberate together. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
Have the right colors with me. It's good.
All right. So a construction worker who was involved in the project said that there were multiple 5+ story buildings underneath Denver International Airport.
That's a big building.
Think of the Hive from Resident Evil, like the underground base that they built, something akin to that. He also said that there was, quote, a network of tunnels that connected them, end quote. Now, this could be the tunnels that were used for the failed luggage system, admittedly. But he worked on the project, so I would think he would know if he was like, hey, those are the luggage tunnels, and why are they 600 feet underground?
They're fast.
It would be a nice cover for your secret tunnel, a real tunnel with an obvious and stupid use that's not employed in any way anymore. Like, that's a good use for your secret tunnel.
Just attach seats to it to get around.
A decoy tunnel, if you will. Also only makes sense that Denver International Airport's only 338 miles from Dulce, New Mexico, where they have the Dulce base, which is 338, 33, and 8. But it doesn't matter. That's not a thing. It's also about 100 miles from the Cheyenne Mountain Bunker, which was the official home of NORAD, as well as a facility that houses, wait for it, a deep underground military base. It's a fallout shelter for the heads of military state when and if a disaster happens.
That's dumb.
Where they would need to retreat. I don't know about you, but it kind of blows my mind to think that this is only 100 miles away from Cheyenne Mountain, where there's the guy's like, yeah, dude, there's like hundreds, there's just miles of underground tunnels.
I was going to say, and we know that there are literally machines that would have no problem drilling 100 miles.
Wait till my next hosted episode, because it is on the Dulce facility.
Great.
So,
and it's not like delicious Dulce like you'd get at a coffee place either.
No, this is not delicious.
Teaser, right?
This is full. This is full of reptilians.
Depends on where you get coffee. It could be there too.
So they do have a. You know what? Never mind. So here's one confirmed dumb connected potentially by tunnels to another dumb connected potentially by tunnels to a third dumb. That actually sounds somewhat reasonable to me.
Have like a whole military acronym.
I have a whole theory about that too. I texted it to you on the way here, but I never hit send. But I'll tell you.
Can't wait.
I'll tell you at some point. It's
yes.
Just remind me.
Okay.
So yeah, if there's one, there's got to be more, right? Like, what if you can't get to Colorado? They're not going to put their hands up and be like, "Well, we tried, Mr. President. You're on your own. Go ahead and hike that way." There's contingency plans like A01 through Z99, and they've got potentially there's bunkers under DIA that's shaped like a swastika with the Freemasons logo right there on the plaque and the name, the New World Airport Commission. They're like, hey, that's where we want to put them. That's where we want to store somebody.
This is the spot.
Yeah. Surely landing here can't be that bad, right? I mean, it's an airport. After your luggage gets catapulted around the airport at 70-something miles an hour, and you have to land in a giant swastika, and you get yelled at by a gargoyle. Once you get there and you finally make it out of the airport, there is a 30-foot tall steel blue with light up red eyes horse statue with the name Blue Mustang. Question number 5. The locals affectionately refer to Blue Mustang as what fun nickname? Is it B, the Denver Bronco? I'm sorry, A, the Denver Bronco.
It's like, what happened to A?
B, the Wild Stallion. C, Blucifer. Or D, the fifth horse of the apocalypse. The Denver Bronco, Wild Stallion, Blucifer, or the fifth horse of the apocalypse.
You know, 2 of those are very light. 2 of those quite heavy.
It's a fun nickname from the locals in Denver. Who knows? Let's see what you got. We got
Blucifer.
C, Blucifer from both of you.
Oh!
The answer is Blucifer. His government name is Blue Mustang, but his friends call him Blucifer. He's kind of a bad luck horse, too, if I'm being honest. At one point during the construction, one of the legs broke off and fell on the artist, severing his femoral artery, and he died as a result. Yeah. Regardless,
and that's the next episode.
Regardless, the people of Denver said, we want the killer horse statue. So while you're wandering around inside, you might find yourself upon some of the art that they commissioned. In addition to Blucifer, out front, they commissioned paintings for the walls inside from Leo Tanguma, I believe is how you pronounce his name. They got such incredible pieces like In Peace and Harmony with Nature. and Children of the World Dream of Peace. And during a recent renovation, they removed a beauty which features a Nazi stormtrooper, as well as the letters with a poem, as well as a letter with a poem from a Holocaust survivor. And this was a big painting that was on the wall. He's literally wearing like
a lot of decisions made here, buddy. A lot of decisions made.
A lot of stylistic choices that they did in Denver that I don't quite understand. Makes me not really want to visit.
But you got to, right? You kind of want to on the same, like, I want to.
Like, I want to see this stuff.
I kind of want to die by Lucifer's leg breaking off again and crushing me.
Just stand under it. Come on.
Like a hella great convention there, and we can go visit the other.
Everybody has to fly in through DIA, and then we just we rent a party bus and take it down to Area 51.
As a rite of passage, you have to jump onto the conveyor belt.
Maybe we'll make that a Patreon level.
Yep, I'll be there. I'll be there for that.
So this painting is so fucking alarming. It's a bunch of children, and there's a guy in a like giant black, very clearly Nazi raincoat, like red armbands, big black rubber gloves. He's got a gas mask on and like the Colonel Klink hat, and he is holding a scimitar. You know those curved swords?
Yeah.
He's got a scimitar.
Like reaping things.
Yeah, and there's nobody's ever done good stuff with a scimitar.
I just think of Charlie, dude, you could cut the hump off of a camel with this thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and he's using it to kind of threaten a dove of peace and a bunch of children. And there's other stormtroopers in the back with
That's a lot.
With machine guns and things like that. So it's just a really off-putting painting. So, warm, welcoming fun. Welcome to Denver International Airport. After you're done getting yelled at the
Denver International Airport. Yeah, it is I, the gargoyle of Denver International Airport.
The German gargoyle.
Yeah.
Something that still really bothers me about the whole operation is how over budget it was. It was supposed to be $2 billion. Again, still finished at 3.9. Nobody stopped and was like, "Hey, what the fuck, dude?" Like
the gargoyle, dude.
Yeah, we need more gargoyles and underground conveyor belts that we're gonna stop using. What about a giant killer horse statue? Yeah, put it next to the Nazi stormtrooper painting.
Guten Tag.
Yeah,
I was wondering about the overages here.
So also, the New World Airport Commission doesn't exist. It's not a thing. Yes. The New World Airport Commission is not like a committee of people who like meet once a year and decide airport laws or like it is not a thing. It's not. They were like the fucking day of the day of the engraving for this plaque. They were like, put a name on it, and he's like, "Oh, my name's Frank," and they were like, "Well, we want to be on it," and he's like, "Well, fuck, what do we call ourselves? Frank and Friends?" And they're like, "Nah, man, that sounds dumb." And they were like, New World Airport Commission?
They were trying to manifest it, dude. They're just trying to manifest it.
So that's not it's officially not a thing that exists, is the New World Airport Commission. So I think that adds to the whole like secret society thing going on there. I think that's a little fun. Also, why was the Queen of England buying up property surrounding Denver International Airport? She bought property on some sides. It's also weird, but a story for another day after I do some homework on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say she can't buy it anymore.
Maybe she didn't die. Maybe she's living under Denver International Airport, dog. And she just bought that property so she can go out for a walk. And somebody's gonna be taking a fucking commuter flight to like Phoenix out of Denver, and they're gonna, as they take off from the swastika runway. They see her out there walking with her. Yeah, they just see her out there, hands behind her back, taking a stroll.
Maybe. And then the gargoyle sees that they saw them and shoots the plane out of the sky with its laser eyes.
Rips through the side and pulls them out and flies away into the night. Yeah, no. So that's pretty much all I got on the Denver International Airport. I hope you guys want to go. I still kind of want to go. Like I said, I just don't know how I would feel about being there. But
due to the both of you getting it correct on the final one, Kristen did take the 500 to 250 lead. We'll be moving on to the next round. That was an excellent go at it, you guys.
Yeah, it was well fought.
Yes, thank you guys so much for coming on and potentially putting your entire day. Yes, yeah.
Stream for this,
Oh shit, yo. She's like, I better make it.
Can I just say that for not being on YouTube and seeing us beautiful ladies here, we both have amazing hair. We both have
Yes, you
very
do. You do.
colorful and bright, vibrant hair.
Hey,
This
we
thing is
doesn't
gorgeous.
mean just because this won't be on YouTube doesn't mean that clips won't be on Instagram.
Yeah.
We still recorded video. Yeah.
Do your best pose now, right? Like.
Yep, there we go. Get some poses in. Get your good sides. Here's how I get my best side. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you both for being here. Is there
yeah,
anything else you guys want to throw out there?
Thanks for having me. It was super fun.
Absolutely.
Long-time listener. Super cool to be here. I really want to go see that gargoyle now.
Yeah, you want to go see the talking German gargoyle
I
in
sort of
Denver.
don't even want to Google it. I just want to eventually end up at Denver and be like, oh yeah!
On your road trip detour.
Hello, Jesse. I heard that you already know of me.
Oh God, could you fucking imagine?
I'd just shit, I think.
God.
The gargoyle, is that you? I'm not even German. Well, we appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you so much for coming out. Kristen will be giving you a contact pretty soon here. What time is there? That was round 1. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now we have officially cut the field in half. Congratulations again to Cactus, Grace, Thomas, and Kristen for their victories. Great job, guys. I know some of the questions were a little thrown off. I think depending on how we edit it, you'll see that Greg and I also might have had some hands and some mistakes that were made.
Reading is tough. I have never minced words about my illiteracy. I have been forthright and upfront with all of that.
Guys, we're working on the worksheets, and I swear to God we'll get through it one day. Swear to God. So thanks again, Greg, for hanging out with me all day and doing that and coming back here and doing these intros and outros with me today.
Sure, yeah, mother trucker.
Make sure to check us out on serialchillerspod.com. That's where all the information is. We're basically only going to be active on Instagram and TikTok, and when we say active, we mean more active.
Just going to have to look at us more.
We're trying. We're older dudes, okay? This is weird for us.
So hard.
So thank you for hanging out for round 1. Next week, come back. We will have the semifinals and the finals. So conclusion of this tournament. If you're curious about who's won, and again, you're not in the Discord and you don't know yet, you can keep it that way. You can keep it a secret for sure. Just come back Friday and you'll get the end of this battle. Greg, anything?
lonelyfanswith2z's.com, and this was fun. The tournament was a fun idea, and I'm looking forward to round 2.
Round 2. Yeah, that's it, man. We'll come check us out next week, and remember, don't talk to strangers. I'm a consummate professional, Greg. Look, I was gonna